Chapter 380. I didn't expect the Sidhu family to speak up for me. It's not easy. Jiangli sighed when he saw Sidhu Bolong come out. The Sidhu family did not have a saint. Although Sidhu Wudi was known as the first person below the saint level, he was still miles away from being a saint. Moreover, the Jiang family was afraid of this title and sometimes suppressed the Sidhu family. At this time, the Sidhu clan had come out to speak a few words of justice to Jiangli and did not hesitate to oppose the Jiang clan. Although they were loyal, it was still reasonable. If Jiangli was toppled at this time, the Jiang family would be even more unscrupulous. Jiang Haiyang would carry the general trend of Earth's migration and successfully run for president. Coupled with Jiang Nalin's cultivation, the entire human race would belong to the Jiang family. Sidhu Bolong had no choice but to stand up for Jiang Haiyang. Jiang Haichao, you're too arrogant. What do you mean we're going against the Jiang family? Sidhu Bolong was even angrier. We're dealing with official business, but you're bringing up your personal grudges. Do you want me to tell everyone what you've said? Let's see how the Jiang family runs for president. I'll kill you and nothing will happen. Jiang Haichao grinned. You're all aliens. I'm doing justice. What are you trying to do by colluding with the Zergs? Tell me, you're blinded by greed. Sidhu Bolong trembled with anger. You're going to drag the Sidhu family into this? Scram, and you won't be dragged into this. If you insist on protecting Jiangli, he's a remnant of the Zergs and must be killed. To tell you the truth, the Jiang family has a lot of evidence of him colluding with the Zergs. We're going to get rid of this scourge today. If you stop us, you'll be on his side, and the Sidhu family will have to bear the blame. Jiang Haichao pressed on. Jiang Haiyang, what do you say? Are you really going to use this opportunity to establish your authority? Sidhu Bolong ignored Jiang Haichao. He knew Jiang Haiyang was in charge. Haichao's words are my words. Jiang Haiyang didn't move at all. Let me give you a piece of advice. The Sidhu clan shouldn't get involved in this mess, and neither should the Huaxia Corporation. This isn't my idea. It's our Jiang clan's highest saint, Nalin's idea. It had already eroded a large piece of land in the cultivation world, allowing the humans of Earth to migrate there. There won't be any disturbances or changes during this period of time. Our Jiang clan's merits are boundless. Just based on this point, which clan could do it? This includes the Wang family. Although they produced Wang Chao, this person has ulterior motives and has no sense of responsibility. He disappeared after absorbing the Earth's heaven's will. He's not a good person either. How can he compare to our Saint Nalin, who wholeheartedly works for the welfare of mankind? Is that true? Many marshals were moved. This time, it was very difficult for them to come to Earth. They didn't know how to tell the people of Earth about the Great Migration, who would be willing to leave their homes, leaving Earth forever. Moreover, the higher-ups had not yet decided where the humans of Earth would migrate to. Now, this big problem had actually been completely solved by Jiang Haiyang and the Jiang family. This was like a bolt from the blue, shocking everyone to their core. The war between mankind and the cultivation world had lasted for countless years without a clear winner. Now, Jiang Nalin had actually eroded another piece of land. Did this mean that he had the power to resist the heaven's will? How strong was he exactly? To be honest, Jiang Haiyang looked at the stunned crowd and threw another bomb. Our Saint Nalin has already comprehended a supreme secret technique and has the hope of becoming a god. Surpassing the saint realm, he has already started to merge with the cultivation world's heavenly will. In less than a decade, he will be able to control the entire cultivation world. When that time comes, all of us humans will migrate there and everyone will be able to obtain endless resources. That will be the best era for humanity. Everyone here is an outstanding existence. Naturally, you know what this means. This time, even Sidhu Bolong's expression changed. Nonsense. Jiangli had to speak now. His tone was slow and heavy. In reality, he was secretly using the Great Dream Seal's spiritual power. How vast is the cultivation world's heaven's will? Jiang Nalin is nothing. The saint behind me has already entered the cultivation world. He has captured Saint Sisa and is about to refine her. Jiang Nalin has only obtained the supreme longevity scripture left behind by the creator of the cultivation world, the eternal emperor. The saint behind me has obtained something even more important. He is the only one who can control the cultivation world's will. Everyone, don't listen to the Jiang family's rumors. The Jiang family has wild ambitions. They want to restore the monarchy and make the human world their home. The Jiang family is the emperor. We will be enslaved for all eternity. He paused. I believe everyone already knows that I have control over the Zer technology. However, I want to tell everyone that the saint behind me is the one who has control over the Zer Queen. She will spread her influence in the cultivation world and steal the heaven's will. Everyone knows how terrifying the Zerg are. Even the gods can't stop them. These words caused the people present to look at each other in dismay. They knew that Jiangli had a backer behind him. Only then did everyone remember that Saint Seesaw had failed to ambush Jiangli and had instead been ambushed by him. Now, her whereabouts were unknown, and Jiangli had dared to say that Saint Seesaw had been trapped and refined in front of everyone's eyes. That was a matter of fact. A saint had been killed just like that. While everyone was terrified, they didn't dare to go along with the Jiang family. Walunga and Situ Bolong rolled their eyes. They knew that Jiang Li was telling the truth. This was one of the reasons they cooperated with Jiang Li. How dare you? Jiang Haichao was furious when he heard this. Which saint is behind you? It's definitely not a human saint. It's an alien. That's why you're the most suspicious. There are only so many human saints. There will never be a new one. You colluded with an alien saint and plotted against a human saint. This is an unforgivable sin. The saint behind me is a human saint. Of course, Jiangli wouldn't admit that Little the Arch was an alien. He clenched his fists. Anyway, Jiang Haichao, you've made a huge mistake trying to pressure me. If you want to fight, I'll fight you to the end. I, Jiangli, am not someone you can bully. All right, little bastard, I'll capture you. Jiang Haichao took a few steps forward and stood firmly on the deck of the aircraft carrier. He then turned to Marshal Goliath and said, Goliath, your backer, Saint Sisa, was plotted against by this brat. Don't you want to take revenge today? Don't worry about the saint behind him. I'll tell you the truth. Saint Nalen and the human saint have already moved out. They've already caught traces of the saint behind this little bastard. They're going to surround and kill him. The saint behind him won't come out. That's good. Anyone related to the Zergs is our greatest enemy. Goliath hated Jiangli to the core. When he saw Jiangli become a follower of Saint Seesaw, he thought he had a chance. He'd used a lot of resources, especially the Red Emperor group. Now that Jiangli had done this, he'd lost both his backer and his assets. He'd lost both his wife and his soldiers. This time, Jiang Haichao's words clearly meant that he wanted him to make the first move and test Jiang Li's strength. At the same time, this was also his proof of allegiance to the Jiang family. If he did well, he would be accepted by the Jiang family, which would benefit him greatly in the future. Although he was a Westerner, he didn't have any morals. The strong were respected. Now that Jiang Nalen was the strongest human, he'd do it if he could. He'd already arrived in front of Jiang Li. He clenched his fist, and a milky white holy light condensed into a beautiful movement behind him. It flickered and floated in the air, and one could vaguely hear the prayers of the gods. Jiang Li, it's not too late for you to surrender now. The military court won't sentence you to death. If you continue to be stubborn and break the law knowingly, then you'll be even more guilty. I'm afraid that no one will be able to absolve you. Goliath was certain that he had Jiang Li in his grasp. Goliath, I think it's better if you surrender now. Don't become someone else's target. Jiang Li stood with his hands behind his back. He didn't care about Goliath at all. T. Marshal Goliath was burning with rage. In the past, Jiang Li was nothing more than a little student in front of him. He was extremely respectful and did whatever he said. But now, he didn't even place him in his eyes at all. This rage came from the bottom of his heart, and he could no longer suppress it. Bang! His fist broke through the air and came for the kill. Wind and thunder rumbled, dragons and tigers roared, and the world changed. Holy strike, absolute glory, immortal king, Titan's hammer. From Goliath's mouth came the strongest tiger roar. An enormous amount of energy surged out and condensed into a whirlpool. It moved at high speed, and with a flash of the fist, it was already attacking Jiang Li's body. A long-lost ancient technique, Titan's Fist. Walinga's expression changed. This wasn't a human martial art, but an extraterrestrial martial art. It belonged to the Titans, who were even stronger than the Psions. The Titans had once descended on Earth. In ancient Greek mythology, the Titans were the rulers of the universe, but they were later defeated by Zeus of the Ospian race. Although these were myths, there was no smoke without fire. There must be historical relics for myths to appear. Titan's Fist was a giant martial art. Once used, it could even break the sky. Goliath's fist energy was highly concentrated. It looked like it was only the size of a bowl, but once it exploded, it could destroy a mountain range. Every one of his punches contained such power that it could almost be compared to the uncanny workmanship of nature. With one strike, he struck out consecutively. Bang, 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 bang. Countless fist energies bombarded out, sealing off the surroundings, not giving anyone any chance to dodge. One punch after another was completed in an instant, like a giant axe splitting a mountain. This was a series of attacks. He had been planning this for a long time. He used all his power in one move, intending to kill Jiang Li and turn him into a pile of minced meat. Unfortunately, Jiang Li just stood there, letting him kill and punch him. The rainstorm of fists bombarded his body, but he didn't move at all. He was like a 1,000-year-old reef, unmoving despite the waterfall and waves crashing against him. The energy of the bombardment was instantly dissolved by his cells, converted into energy, and sent into the mother nest in his body. Originally, Goliath's attacks had exceeded his limits. If he didn't have the mother nest, he wouldn't be able to release the energy. But no one had expected that refining the mother nest, in addition to his emperor body's ability to convert energy, would be like having a bottomless pit. He could inject damage and energy that couldn't be absorbed into the depths of the mother nest for it to dissolve. The mother nest lacked energy. Therefore, Jiang Li could absorb almost all damage now. There was no sign of saturation. The more people attacked him, the stronger he became. Everyone saw an unforgettable scene. Goliath was like a madman, continuously punching and kicking Jiang Li. Jiang Li just looked at him coldly and said, "Fight, call me when you're done." Chapter 381. His technique is a strange one. It can absorb all damage and turn it into energy, but it has a flaw. There's a limit to how much damage it can absorb. When he absorbs too much damage, the energy can't be released, and his cells will dry up and die. Jiang Xinyue suddenly screamed. She was the only one who knew Jiang Li's technique like the back of her hand. No one in the world knew Jiang Li's great emperor seal better than she did. There's such a thing. Jiang Haichao was also dumbfounded, but Jiang Xinyue reminded him. He immediately grinned and slid behind Jiang Li. He suddenly roared, "Angry whale tide." He punched out. Suddenly, many blue ripples of energy appeared behind him. Within the blue ripples of energy, one could see an angry giant whale, king stirring up the waves and rushing over. This was another fist technique of the Jiang clan, the angry whale tide. Although it wasn't the most destructive, it could produce the most energy in an instant. He wanted to attack so that Jiang Li wouldn't be able to absorb too much energy, and his body would explode and his cells would be destroyed. Bang! His fist landed on Jiang Li's body. Suddenly, as he laughed viciously, all of the blue waves of true qi seemed to teleport into Jiang Li's body. Jiang Li's body was filled to the point where he looked like a round ball, ready to explode at any moment. So ruthless. Jiang Li's expression didn't change. Although Jiang Xinyue had found his weakness, she didn't know that he had cultivated the mother nest. The mother nest had a space the size of a football field, 30,000 worker bees, a king beetle, and the killer beetle were all good at absorbing energy. Inside the mother nest in the Dantian's lower abdomen, a large amount of violent energy was pouring in. However, the 30,000 worker bees suddenly trembled and began to absorb a large amount of energy. The king beetle also began to lay eggs, which were also absorbing energy. More worker bees broke out of the eggs and grew. In the blink of an eye, more than 5,000 worker bees had been added to the hive. In other words, Jiang Li had channeled Jiang Haichao and Goliath's attacks into the depths of the broodmother's nest. Then, the broodmother's double transformation had resulted in the birth of worker bees. This could be said to be the pinnacle of energy circulation. No other expert could compare to it. The more worker bees were born, the more energy they could absorb. Each worker bee could absorb all kinds of energy. The Zergs themselves also had special abilities. Otherwise, how could they strike fear into the hearts of countless races in the universe? The combination of the Great Emperor's physique and the bug tribe's double transformation made Jiang Li almost invincible. He turned around and said to Jiang Haichao, "Not bad. Your fist technique is very sharp. Come on, attack me. Use all of your strength. I won't fight back. I'll let you hit me. As long as you can kill me, I'll accept it." As he spoke, he looked at Jiang Xinyue and said, "Jiang Xinyue, do you think my cultivation is still the same as when I was fighting the giant? You think too simply of me, Jiang Li." Indeed, his cultivation was not the same as when he was fighting the giant. After absorbing the energy of the dragon dimension, his cultivation of the Great Emperor's seal had increased a lot. Although he hadn't comprehended the second tier of the embryonic breathing divine breath, his cell's ability to absorb and wriggle had increased greatly. The Great Emperor's seal itself had reached a higher level. Cultivating the mother nest also allowed him to combine some of the essence of the Great Emperor's seal with the structure of the Zergs. He had his own understanding and walked on a different path. He felt that the Great Emperor's seal and the Zergs had similar effects. When the Great Emperor's seal was cultivated, countless cells would become individuals, while the Zergs would form a huge society. "Xinyue, what's going on?" Jiang Haiyang hadn't made a move yet, but he was extremely shocked. He hadn't seen a freak like Jiang Li before. Jiang Haichao's attack and Goliath's attack were violent and intense. They were equivalent to the continuous explosions of nuclear bombs, or even more ferocious. However, Jiang Li just stood there and let them attack him. He didn't move at all and was still talking calmly. This was equivalent to Monkey Sun on the execution platform. "I don't know either." Jiang Xinyue shook her head. She was confused. Originally, she was very clear about Jiang Li's ability, but now she was confused. Why is this happening? How did his ability suddenly become so strong? Actually, when Jiang Li had just advanced to the embryonic breathing realm, he was already on par with Martial Goliath. Afterwards, he had fought with Jiang Xinyue against the giant. After the battle, his ability had almost doubled. After that, he had received the dragon god's empowerment and cultivated the mother nest. His ability had increased again and had already far surpassed Martial Goliath. My God, is he still human? Walenga and Situ Bolong couldn't believe their eyes. Jiang Li's actions had surpassed the limits of the meditative meditation realm. They all thought they were dreaming. Who would stand there and let others hit them? Woo 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 woo. Jiang Xinyue flashed and appeared in front of Jiang Li. She let out a long roar. "Jiang Li, I don't believe that you can absorb all damage. You are invincible. Vast ocean flow." She couldn't bear it anymore and leaped out. Her palms were like the vast ocean, chaotic and natural. The vast ocean flow was not from the Supreme Longevity Fist, but the Jiang clan's magnum opus. Similarly, the fist technique was not only ferocious, but it could also produce the greatest amount of energy in an instant. Jiang Li opened his arms and opened his chest, allowing Jiang Xinyue to attack him. In an instant, the three great experts were like three huge dragons fighting over a single prey. They continuously bombarded Jiang Li's body with powerful killing moves. Jiang Li floated in the air. In midair, the three also flew up. Their fists were heavy and their palms were like dragons. The sky turned chaotic. Many marshals below used their mystiques to prevent the aircraft carrier from being pierced. Martial Goliath, Jiang Haichao, and Jiang Xinyue worked together to form an equilateral triangle. They actually combined the geographical advantage of the Bermuda Triangle and trapped Jiang Li in the middle. "The time, place, and people are all on our side," Jiang Haichao said viciously. "Are you still not going to die this time?" The three of them activated the magic formation, and suddenly, a magic formation appeared, wrapping around Jiangli. They were actually using dimensional energy to refine Jiangli. Flames burned, and many of them condensed into runes that burrowed into Jiangli's body. Heavenly fire refines primordial spirit. Immortal spirit turns to ash. Jiang Haichao roared, "Let's activate the fire dimension's heavenly fire and turn it into fire runes. Let's turn him to ash." Okay. Martial Goliath gave it his all. Jiang Xinyue kept using her strongest mystique, trying to kill Jiangli. Everyone saw a huge rune fireball wrap around Jiangli and shrink. It was blinding. In the end, it was so bright that it could blind people. The seawater on the sea evaporated. Jiang Haiyang locked his gaze on Walunga, Hong Heiyu, and Situ Bolong. He was afraid they would rush out to save Jiangli. "Walunga, Hong Heiyu, Situ Bolong, do you still want to save this little bastard?" Jiang Haiyang's tone didn't change. It was very calm, as if killing Jiangli wasn't a waste of time. "You better not use it. Otherwise, I'll kill you. Jiang Haiyang, you're too much. Even a saint doesn't have the power to execute a marshal. You have to go through the Congress and gather all the evidence. Jiangli has done nothing wrong, but you're going against him. Do you really think you're the emperor? That your Jiang family has unified the world?" Walunga said angrily. "No rush. They can't kill Jiangli." Hong Heiyu wasn't moved at all. "How can my student be killed so easily? If he was, Saint Sisa would have killed him long ago. Why wait until now?" "Hong Heiyu, you're very confident." Jiang Haiyang looked at the sky. "The heavenly fire refining primordial spirit is an ancient formation. It's not that easy to break. Even if he can absorb damage, can he absorb all the heavenly fire in the fire dimension? He'll be refined sooner or later. Our Jiang family got rid of this scourge for humanity. It's great. Is that so?" At this moment, a disdainful voice came from the fireball. Then, a wave swept in all directions. "I still have to thank you. If you hadn't pressured me like this, how could I have broken through to the second level of the embryonic breathing realm, the divine breath realm? It allowed me to comprehend the wonders of the sacred fetus, primordial spirit. I can breathe with the spirit and use the spirit to activate all kinds of energy. It can be said that the spirit controls all techniques and moves the world." Bang! As this voice rang out, the runic fireball exploded. Then, many of the runic flames were absorbed into Jiangli's body like rivers flowing into the sea. Jiangli's tall, majestic body appeared. His aura was many times stronger than before. His cells, body, energy, and mind had all undergone a qualitative change because he had broken through to the second level of the embryonic breathing realm, the contemplative breathing realm. This way, the change in the realm caused his mind to become more condensed. Then, the energy substance underwent an unbelievable change. Every cell was full of energy, every inch of skin could absorb more energy, and the seal of the great emperor became clearer. Rumble! Jiangli grabbed with his big hand and broke through the air. Suddenly, his arm grew tens of meters longer. This was not an illusion, nor was it energy. It was his real arm that had grown longer. It was the increase of crystal cells, and his body could change and distort at will. Martial Goliath was shaken to the point that his chi and blood were unstable. He was grabbed by Jiang Li's hand. Jiang Li's other hand grabbed again. Jiang Haichao couldn't dodge in time and was grabbed by the neck. He fell from the sky like an old duck. In an instant, the two meditative strong practitioners were captured. As for Jiang Xinyue, Jiang Li let her off. Of course, it was also because she had dodged too quickly and the vital chi in her body was almost the same as Jiang Li's. It was a little difficult to catch her. Jiang Li circled and landed from midair. Suddenly, a wave of crystal cells surged into Goliath and Jiang Haichao's bodies, controlling all their cells and even their souls. This time, the two of them really couldn't move. He actually won, and he broke through in the middle of the battle. What's going on? Walunga and Situ Bolong had never expected Jiang Li's power to reach this level. Because they were both in the meditative realm, they couldn't decide a winner even if they fought for a month. Zhongli had been surrounded by 3 people and still won so easily. This level was unimaginable to them. How dare you? Seeing this, Jiang Haiyang couldn't take it anymore. He took a step forward and waved his fingers. Immediately, everyone's vision went dark. Everyone seemed to have entered a kingdom of darkness. They could no longer see any light. It was as if they were in a nightmare and couldn't wake up. Jiang Haiyang was the strongest after all. He had such power with just a wave of his hand. Zhongli was also shocked. He didn't know what technique his opponent had used, but with just a wave of his hand, it was like a long night. He couldn't even use the Great Dream Seal. Only now did he realize that Jiang Haiyang's power was far above his. "Little bastard, looks like I'll have to kill you myself." Jiang Haiyang's voice was like a ghost in the night. Zhongli forced his eyes open and saw a palm coming toward his head. The palm was light, but Zhongli knew it contained terrifying power. If it hit him, all the cells in his body would explode. He wouldn't be able to absorb the damage. Chapter 382. The power of one palm actually had the power to overturn the universe and turn the ages into a long night. This was Jiang Haiyang's ability. He was the #1 person in the Jiang clan after Jiang Nalan. The cold wind blew, and all hopes turned to dust. This was how Zhongli felt. He knew that he was already at the most critical juncture of life and death. If he hadn't advanced to the second realm of the embryonic breathing realm, he would already be dead. A dream of 1,000 years to forget the past, to stop the primordial spirit in the blink of an eye, to see through all the matters of the universe. This is the immortal true saint. At this critical juncture, Zhongli let out a loud roar. He circulated the Great Dream Seal to an unprecedented limit. The stars moved and mental energy gushed out from his body. It actually condensed into circles of ripples and bubbles. In those bubbles, the universe appeared. With him as the center, countless mental energy bubbles gushed out like a child blowing soap bubbles. Each bubble was a world of its own. This was an illusion, but everyone could see the illusion of a dream bubble. Pop! The scene of the eternal night disappeared. Zhongli escaped. Jiang Haiyang's palm was right in front of him, about to strike down. It could be said to be extremely dangerous. However, Zhang Li's arm shook and he had already escaped. Then, he grabbed Martial Goliath and Jiang Haichao and faced the palm. His meaning was very obvious. If Jiang Haiyang continued to attack, he would first kill Martial Goliath and Jiang Haichao. These 2 meditative realm experts were not ordinary. One of them was Jiang Haiyang's younger brother. Zhongli didn't believe that the other party would really kill him without hesitation. As expected, Jiang Haiyang retracted his palm and didn't dare to strike down. Jiang Li's body drifted to the other side of the aircraft carrier. He carried Goliath and Jiang Haichao with both hands. He was calm and composed. He shouted, "Jiang Haiyang, you have great magical powers. It's a pity that it's useless against me. How about it? Other than Jiang Nalan, no one in your Jiang clan can deal with me." Zhang Li's confidence increased greatly after his one move had succeeded. In the process of refining his primordial soul with the heavenly fire, he had advanced to the second realm of the embryonic breathing realm, the divine breath realm. Originally, it was very difficult for him to advance to the next realm. Every time he advanced, the comprehension and energy required could not be calculated. In order to advance to the divine breath realm this time, he would need to train hard for at least a few decades, or even 100 years. However, after absorbing the giant scion divine blood and receiving the dragon dimension empowerment, it saved him 100 years of hard training. Coupled with the pressure from the 3 experts, he managed to break through. This breakthrough could be said to be historic. It meant that Zhongli had the ability to escape from anyone below the saint level. Of course, it was only the ability to escape. If he wanted to defeat people like Jiang Haiyang and Siddhu Wudi, he would probably have to advance to the 3rd level of mixed origin breath. Back then, before Jiang Xinyue had advanced to the primordial chaos breath realm, she had already been defeated in every aspect. After her sudden advancement, she could already contend with the meditative state, let alone the current Zhongli. What if I can also attain the state of amnesia? Then wouldn't I be able to find out some of the secrets of the saints? Thinking of this, Jiang Li's blood boiled. He could not wait to advance to the meditative state. This was because he could already contend with the meditative state when he was still in the embryonic breathing realm. If he advanced to the meditative state, wouldn't he be able to contend with the saints? Even if he could not contend with the saints, if he had the ability to escape from the saints, that would also be amazing. In short, the saints could not kill him. That was a guarantee. Little B asterisk starred, put the two of them down, and you can still live. Jiang Haiyang did not make a move. Instead, he faced off against Jiang Li. His clothes fluttered in the sea breeze, making wallala wallala sounds that actually covered the sound of the waves. Everyone could only hear the sound of his clothes fluttering, but not the sound of the waves. At this moment, Walunga and Situ Bolong were more or less following Jiang Li's lead. The strength that Jiang Li had displayed was too shocking. If you don't give me a way out, I won't give the Jiang family a way out. Jiang Li looked at Jiang Haichao and Goliath, who were under his control. Jiang Haiyang, come at me. Come kill me? I want to see if they die first, or if I die first. Furthermore, you can't kill me. Your attacks will only be absorbed by me and increase my strength. Jiang Li, don't be an alarmist. I know what you're capable of. Jiang Xinyue's face was pale. She gritted her teeth. When I attain the meditative state, I will be able to break through all your remarkable powers and suppress you. That will have to wait until you attain the meditative state. Jiang Li said coldly. Other than Jiang Nailan, no one in the Jiang family can do anything to me. Jiang Li, let's talk things out. Don't kill Goliath and Jiang Haichao. Otherwise, if things get out of hand, it will not be easy to resolve. Situ Belong's mental energy rippled over. I know, Jiang Li really wanted to kill the two of them, but this would cause too much of a commotion. Even the president wouldn't be able to suppress it. If the highest military department wanted to sentence him, he still had to follow the rules. Actually, Jiang Haiyang killing him was already against the rules. However, the other party was strong, so it was fine to play with the rules. He couldn't, unless Little Darch appeared and fought against Jiang Nailan. Jiang Li would always be suppressed by the Jiang family. This was something that couldn't be helped. A pity, I do not know any sacrificial techniques. If I could kill these two fellows and perform the sacrificial ritual, I would be able to obtain a lot of benefits. Absorbing these two fellows would not increase my cultivation base by much, Jiang Li thought viciously. The two meditative experts had abundant energy and mental energy. However, after killing them, it was hard for Jiang Li to absorb them. The bug race mother nest could only increase the number of worker bees and killer bugs. If he sacrificed the two of them to some great will, the benefits he would gain would be many times greater than absorbing them. Unfortunately, Jiang Li didn't know the sacrificial technique. However, an idea popped up in his mind. If I can capture these two people into the cultivation world and kill them on the spot, not only can I absorb their energy, but I can also obtain the reward of the cultivation world's heaven's will. The reward of killing two meditative experts will not be ordinary. However, this was just a thought. He obviously couldn't do it now. But the moment this thought appeared, a vicious smile appeared on his face. He knew that the two of them definitely wouldn't let him off. He would have many chances to lure them into the cultivation world and kill them in secret. His arm shook. Goliath, Jiang Haiyang, although the two of you attacked me, I am a law-abiding person. I won't do anything to you. However, I will report what happened today to the Congress. The highest military department will judge the two of you. Pung Pung. Goliath and Jiang Haiyang fell to the deck of the aircraft carrier, unable to move. Only when Jiang Haiyang infused some essence into them did they barely manage to stand up. They had lost all face and wished they could leave immediately. However, they could not do so now. Therefore, the two of them could only stare at Jiang Li fiercely. They were like wolves. As long as Jiang Li revealed an opening, the two of them would tear him apart and eat him up. Even Walunga and Situ Bolong shuddered at their gazes. He knew that Jiang Li had offended these two to the point of death. If he turned around, he definitely wouldn't have a good life. In the future, they would probably fight to the death. He had to be careful. Actually, Jiang Li wanted them to do that. Letting the two of them go was just playing hard to get. In his heart, the two of them were already mortal enemies. There were even food. If he killed them, he would receive great benefits and rewards from heaven's will. Why not? In fact, Jiang Haiyang was a must-kill. Jiang Haiyang, you can't kill me. Do you believe me now? After releasing the two, Jiang Li clapped his hands. There was a faint smile on his face. Little B asterisk starred. Jiang Hiang cursed angrily, but he didn't attack again. Although he was stronger than Jiang Li, it seemed that he couldn't kill Jiang Li now. Moreover, this wasn't the time to kill Jiang Li. The Senate and government had sent him here to coordinate the migration of humans on Earth. Fighting with Jiang Li would delay the important matters. If the migration of humans on Earth wasn't successful, his presidential campaign would probably be ruined. This little B asterisk starred is indeed not easy to deal with. No wonder Saint Nayland said to get rid of the powerful existence behind him first. Jiang Hiang thought to himself, when I become the president and obtain the power of a saint, killing this kid will be a piece of cake. Moreover, Earth's calamity has begun. In the chaos, killing this little B asterisk starred is nothing. Killing in times of peace is completely different from killing in times of chaos. Marshal Hiang, I think we should just forget about this. Our priority now is to discuss how to pacify the humans on Earth and carry out the migration. Seeing Jiang Hiang's gloomy expression, Hua Linga immediately stepped forward to smooth things over. After a few words, the murderous atmosphere in the room became slightly livelier. I must investigate this matter thoroughly. Of course, the bigger picture is more important now. I don't have time to argue with you. Jiang Hiang had already decided that Jiang Li was a must-kill target, but his tone softened. Jiang Li didn't speak. He didn't want to intensify the conflict now. Everyone, let's gather together and discuss how to migrate humans. Situ Belong wanted to quickly suppress this conflict, so he immediately changed the topic. Right now, Earth is still very peaceful. If we suddenly issue an order to migrate, there will be a lot of criticism. Whoever issues the order will be condemned by everyone. Even the president wouldn't dare to do this. But if we don't issue the order and the seal breaks in the future, I'm afraid there will be heavy casualties. This matter is indeed difficult. Although we have such great magical power, we are still afraid of public opinion. A Western marshal saw this and knew that there would be no more fighting. He shook his head and stepped forward. Looks like we can only issue an announcement first. Let's say that there is a space-time tunnel on Earth and a giant has come. We have suppressed it, but it is still very dangerous. First, let all the major military bases be on lockdown. Then, we can slowly control public opinion and raise their vigilance. Let the people of Earth know what is going on and raise their morale. Then, we can slowly announce the migration. This seems to be better. If we suddenly announce the migration, it will probably cause a huge earthquake. That's not good either. Jiang Xinyu immediately refuted. Once the order that the Earth is in a dangerous state is issued, I'm afraid there will be internal strife. The rich people will try their best to migrate. Those who can't migrate will be anxious and hate the rich officials. In this way, it will cause a big mess. Since ancient times, external strife isn't scary. What's scary is that before the external strife comes, the people inside will start to panic. Chapter 383. Jiang Xinyue's words made sense. Usually, when a disaster came, as long as everyone was united and focused on resisting the enemy was nothing to be afraid of. What they were afraid of was internal strife. Some people with ulterior motives would fan the flames and cause internal problems. The disaster would be even greater than the invasion of foreign enemies. This matter is indeed worrisome. Jiang Haiyang nodded. Right now, it's only a migration plan. There's no sign of the seal breaking or the invasion of foreign planets. Once the migration is initiated, people will panic. This will be a difficult task. People nowadays don't believe us when we tell them it's dangerous. When the danger comes, they'll blame the government for not informing us in advance. When that time comes, they'll be in trouble. Everyone fell into deep thought. This matter could not be solved by force. Even in the era of countries, there was often bloodshed when relocation was carried out. The government and the people hated each other. Now, countless people had to leave their homes and lose Earth forever. Zhongli could imagine the public opinion on Earth, and even the entire human race would be in an uproar if they issued an order for immediate migration or martial law. Although this matter only concerned humans on Earth, the human media on other planets would also pay close attention. When the time came, the opposition parties would come out and cause trouble. It would immediately add fuel to the fire, and the situation would be out of control. Even a saint would not be able to control this kind of public opinion. Therefore, when it came to migrating Earth, if it was done well, it would be a meritorious deed and be respected by thousands of people. If it was not done, it would be an eternity. Seeing this, Zhongli had an idea. He laughed in his heart, but did not say it out loud. Zhongli, what do you think? Say it. If you really have a good idea, I can pardon your sins. Suddenly, Zhang Haiyang looked over. Who do you think you are? Absolve me of my sins? Zhongli retorted sarcastically. He knew that with his current strength, Zhang Haiyang could not kill him. Therefore, he had nothing to fear. Anyway, he was not afraid of falling out with Zhang Haiyang again. You're courting death. Zhang Haiyang shook his clothes, and the entire ocean seemed to roll. You're cutting yourself off from the world and the military. Humph. Zhongli clenched his fist. If you want to find trouble with me, just come. Why do you have to find these excuses? If you have what it takes, then let's have a match. I don't want to run for the presidency anyway. I'm not afraid of anything. Zhang Haiyang, if you still want to say more, then I'll find many media outlets and challenge you publicly. Let's have a battle to the death in front of the entire human race. Do you dare? Do you dare? These words were like a thunderclap. Everyone's hearts were in their throats. No one had expected that Jiang Li would actually think of such a desperate plan. He wanted to challenge Zhang Haiyang and fight to the death in front of the entire human race. This was equivalent to forcing Zhang Haiyang into a dead end. Zhang Haiyang was now a presidential candidate and needed to build a reputation. If Jiang Li challenged him, it would definitely be explosive news. If it was some random person who challenged him, then he could ignore it. However, Jiang Li was a marshal and one of the best in the human race. He also had a deep grudge against the Jiang family and was very famous. If he didn't accept the challenge, then he would be a coward. His reputation would be greatly damaged. Not to mention running for president, he might not even be able to run for parliament. The current culture of martial arts among the human race was not just for show. The most important thing for a student from a young age was cultivation. Everyone's vitality and combat strength were tested. Under such a culture, how could there not be a culture of martial arts? Running for president mainly depended on one's strength. Therefore, as long as Jiang Li challenged him, Zhang Haiyang had to accept it. If he didn't accept it, his reputation would be ruined. However, if he accepted it and something went wrong, it would be even worse. Although he had absolute confidence in defeating Jiang Li, seeing the combat strength Jiang Li had just displayed and a mystical skill that could absorb all damage, what if it ended in a draw? Wouldn't all his prestige be destroyed? He stared at Jiang Li for a long time before spitting out, "Bastard, if you want to die, then I'll fulfill your wish. You're the one who asked for it. You can't blame anyone else. The grudge between me and the Jiang family will be resolved sooner or later." Jiang Li let out a long sigh, as if he had made up his mind. "Zhang Haiyang, when I go back, I will hold a press conference to challenge you. We will fight in a month. Whether you accept it or not, I have already made up my mind." Jiang Li, don't let your emotions affect your decisions. How are we discussing the migration of Earth? If we don't resolve this, will there be internal strife between the marshals? I'm afraid the Senate won't let you off. The president won't allow the two of you to fight. Sidhu Bolong and Walunga came to their senses and secretly cursed. They went forward to dissuade him. Jiang Li took out his marshal's medal and typed in an email. After 10 minutes, he looked up. The migration of Earth is easy to resolve. I've already written an email to the Senate. I'll tell you the specifics. Didn't Zhang Haiyang just say that Jiang Nailan opened up a holy land in the cultivation world? What I mean is that the cultivation world already has a good living environment, and there are treasures everywhere. Everyone can migrate there and snatch the treasures. Try your best to publicize this matter and use wealth to move people's hearts. Moreover, you can also make a few examples. Under the encouragement of wealth and longevity, the humans on Earth will probably swarm over like a swarm of bees. Instead of making everyone panic, it's better to make everyone go crazy. Also, those who go to the cultivation world will have to pay taxes. This way, the government won't have to pay and will instead receive a large sum of money. Anyone would do such a good thing. Brilliant! Walunga and Situ Bolong were elated before they even finished listening. This was indeed a good idea. There was no risk and no fear of public opinion. Instead, it would cause a migration frenzy. Jiang Haiyang also heard this and immediately knew that Jiang Li's idea could be said to be the best plan. However, there was a key point, and that was that all the pressure was on the Jiang family. What did he mean by Jiang Nalan had opened up a holy land for everyone to dig for treasures? This way, Jiang Nalan's reputation could indeed increase, but there couldn't be any mistakes. However, he had said too much. Now that Jiang Li had sent an email to the Senate, they would definitely be discussing this matter. Logically speaking, this was the safest method and the Senate would definitely approve it. This way, all the pressure would be on the Jiang family. He had come this time to win reputation so that the Jiang family wouldn't have to do much. Now, it was the exact opposite. The Jiang family seemed to be the classic example of not doing much. He gritted his teeth in hatred and wanted to kill Jiang Li on the spot. All right, I've already given my opinion on this matter. I won't meddle in today's matter. Everyone knows the weight of my opinion. The Senate will definitely agree. Jiang Haiyang patted the dust off his body and said, I will leave now. Everyone is waiting to read my letter of challenge. Everyone here is a marshal and a member of the upper echelons of humanity. You all know the grudge between me and the Jiang family. Everyone here has seen the situation today. Jiang Haiyang is overbearing and wants to put me to death. I can't continue to endure this any longer, so I might as well fight it out. If you die, I die. After humans on Earth have walked out of the era of nations, there has been a culture of martial arts. I might as well give the Jiang family a chance to openly kill me. As he spoke, he pointed at Jiang Haiyang. Jiang Haiyang, you want to kill me? I'll give you a chance. Let's see if you have the ability. After saying this, he suddenly exploded and disappeared. He had already left. Hua Lenga and Situ Bolong received a telepathic message from Jiang Li just as he was about to leave. Gentlemen, my challenge to Jiang Haiyang has been decided. I'll need your help in publicizing the matter. Come to the Red Emperor Corporation and we'll have a good discussion. Hua Lenga and Situ Bolong had thought that they were on equal footing with Jiang Li. However, today's battle had completely changed their views. They felt that Jiang Li was invincible. Not only had he defeated 3 masters, he had also challenged Jiang Haiyang. His aura wasn't something they could compare to. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The two of them and Hong Heiyu flew up and quickly left. Only the marshals and Jiang Haiyang were left on the aircraft carrier. What do we do now? Jiang Xinyue said to Jiang Haiyang. Jiang Li is really going to challenge us. Jiang Haiyang was Jiang Xinyue's grandfather. However, Jiang Xinyue didn't want to call him granduncle. She thought that her cultivation was now on equal footing with the meditative mind. This was also the culture that Jiang Nalan had brought. Within the Jiang family, seniority was extremely strict from generation to generation, but Jiang Nalan was unique and had advanced to the saint level. No one dared to act arrogant in front of him. Even the ancestor of the Wu generation had to worship his holy statue. Jiang Xinyue's role model was Jiang Nalan. It's fine. He's courting death by challenging me. I can kill him, Jiang Haiyang said. He's a marshal. If I kill him like this, I'll have to bear some responsibility. However, since he challenged me in the arena, it's only right that I kill him. Just wait and see. This little B asterisk starred will always be a big threat to our Jiang family. We could take this opportunity to get rid of him openly. Since you're confident, that's fine, Jiang Xinyue said. However, to be safe, I still suggest that Goliath and Jiang Haichao work together to assassinate him. We definitely won't let him cultivate in peace. I'll leave this matter to you. Jiang Haiyang waved his sleeves and disappeared. Goliath and Jiang Haichao were upset. They suddenly let out a long howl at the ocean. It sounded like a wolf's howl and a ghost cry. Jiang Li, if I don't kill you, I swear I'm not human, Jiang Haichao said with seniority. The hatred in his heart couldn't be washed away by the water of the ocean. Goliath punched out, causing explosions everywhere in the sky. He was a person of high status and power, but he had never been humiliated like this before. Today, he was captured in front of so many people. This was worse than death. He would rather die than suffer such humiliation. Moreover, what happened today would definitely be recorded and studied by many people. When the time came, the video would spread. He was afraid that he would lose even more face. I must kill Jiang Li and wash away this humiliation. Goliath only had this thought in his mind. Chapter 384. Red Emperor Corporation. Hong Hiyu, Walunga, Situ Bolong, and Jiang Li sat in a circle. After a long silence, Walunga spoke again. Jiang Li, are you really going to challenge Jiang Haiyang? Say no more. I made up my mind. Jiang Li knew what he was going to say. He waved his hand. Actually, I know how powerful Jiang Haiyang is. I'll be satisfied if I don't die when I fight him. Defeating him is just wishful thinking. But without pressure, where will I get motivation? I want to use this moment of life and death to spur myself on and seek a breakthrough. Now that Earth is facing a critical change, Jiang Nailin has already started devouring heaven's will, and Jiang Haiyang is running for president. I can't stop him, so this is the only way. Think about it. If Jiang Haiyang becomes president and has the power of a saint, will I just sit and wait for death? I won't be able to resist anymore. That's true. Situ Bolong thought about it and agreed that Jiang Li had made a risky move. If Jiang Haiyang succeeded in the election, Jiang Li might not be able to survive. The president controlled 51% of the Lord God's AI and was on equal footing with the saint. Plus, he had a lot of authority over humans. Under this system, no matter how much Jiang Li tried, it would be futile. I understand what you're thinking, but this move is too dangerous. Once it's thrown out, it'll be a life and death struggle. Walunga was still worried. What if you don't know life, how will you know death? Life is about continuous breakthroughs. I still have to thank Jiang Haiyang for giving me this chance. If he didn't pressure me, I wouldn't have the courage to challenge him. Once Jiang Li had made up his mind, he wouldn't change his mind. He was a stubborn person. Then let's discuss how to hold the press conference. Walunga thought about it and was sure that this would be beneficial to him. This was because in this presidential election, the Huaxia group also had people, but they could not compare to Jiang Haiyang. If Jiang Li could pose a threat to Jiang Haiyang and drag him down from his high horse, causing his reputation to be tarnished, wouldn't the Huaxia group gain a great advantage? Jiang Li had planned everything out. This time, the Wang clan is also participating in the election. Once news of this spreads, the Wang clan will also help me. Oh, record the conflict with Jiang Haiyang just now. If he accepts the challenge, it'll be fine. But if he doesn't, we'll throw it out and see if he can keep his face. Jiang Haiyang will definitely accept the challenge. Hong Black Prison wasn't worried about this. With such an open and honorable opportunity to kill you, why wouldn't he accept it? What I'm worried about now is whether or not you have absolute confidence. No, that's why I want to hype up the discussion for a month. 1 month later, it will be the voting day for the presidential election. That's a big day. Since he is the presidential candidate, I want to hype it up. The hotter the better. In this month, I will cultivate with all my might. I must break through the bottleneck. When Jiang Li spoke, there was no fear, terror, or worry. It was as if he was playing a game. To him, life and death were just a game and a dream. All right, let's start the publicity now. How are you going to cultivate? Hong Heiyu asked. It's very simple. Jiang Li smiled and said, kill with a borrowed knife. Sure enough, from the second day onwards, the mighty propaganda began. Headlines appeared all over the internet. Breaking news. Marshal Jiang Li has challenged the presidential candidate, Marshal Jiang Haiyang. Marshal Jiang Li, the second tier of the embryonic breathing realm, divine breathing realm, showed his prowess and defeated Goliath. Jiang Haichao and Jiang Xinyue joined forces and challenged Marshal Jiang Haiyang. Earth-shattering news. Jiang Li challenged Jiang Haiyang, causing internal strife in the Jiang family. Does Jiang Haiyang dare to accept the challenge? The Huaxia Group, the Red Emperor Group, the Situ clan, and all the major news media gave it their all and held a press conference. Once the news of Jiang Li personally challenging Jiang Haiyang spread, all the major media went crazy. The major media from dozens of human planets all came to Earth and stationed themselves in the capital. Even the media from a main divine planet came. All the important people in the elite zone came to visit one after another. At this moment, Jiang Li was being interviewed by media. The person interviewing him was a female reporter. She was in the hall of the Red Emperor Group. This female reporter was a Westerner. She had the temperament of a white-collar worker. She was capable and refreshing, but she was very strong. She was actually in the embryonic breathing realm. This was a female reporter from the main divine planet in the elite zone. She was a high-level female anchor and the senior CEO of the World News Studio. Her name was Lin Na. Many people in the world were fans of Lin Na. Her popularity was many times higher than that of Jiang Li. She was an idol-level female anchor. At this moment, she actually personally brought her own news team and used the news studio's own battleship to perform an interstellar jump to come here to interview Jiang Li. It could be seen that this matter was of great importance. At this moment, it was 8 o'clock at night in the capital on Earth. It was also the time when the world news was broadcasted. The world news was the biggest news. Countless people watched it every day. It was also the official news of the human race. Normally, as long as one sentence of an advertisement could be broadcasted during the world news, it would be worth billions of star dollars. It couldn't even be bought with money. However, at Jiang Li's level, money really didn't have much use for him. There were at least 500 billion viewers in the world watching the live broadcast of this interview. However, Jiang Li wasn't nervous at all. He was also a person who had seen such a big scene. Marshal Jiang Li, as far as I know, you have completed the human nuclear explosion experiment? Lin Na started the interview with a smile on her face. It wasn't stiff and was very natural. Her whole body had a kind of sacred aura, making people feel as though they were talking to an angel. It was very calming and peaceful. It was no wonder that this woman could become the idol of the people. Yes, this matter was originally a military secret, but the general public has the right to know. I will also explain here. Not long ago, I conducted a human nuclear explosion at a military base in the Sahara Desert in Africa. 3 nuclear bombs exploded consecutively, and I was unscathed. These records and data are all in the military headquarters. If there's a need, it should be made public. Jiang Li knew that his every move during the interview was being watched by hundreds of billions of people. He couldn't be careless, so he was also very careful. Then, Marshal Jiang Li, what cultivation technique do you cultivate? Can you practice it here? Let everyone in the world see your supernatural power? Lin Na smiled. As far as I know, only meditative-level experts can conduct human nuclear explosion experiments. Originally, I wanted to tell everyone, but because the decisive battle with Jiang Haiyang is about to begin, I'll keep everyone in suspense here. That's why I'm keeping everyone in suspense. On the day of the final battle, everyone can watch the live broadcast, Jiang Li replied calmly. Marshal Jiang Li, are you trying to shirk responsibility by saying this? Lin Na said with a slightly mischievous tone. I heard that Marshal Jiang Haiyang hasn't agreed to your challenge. He has already agreed. He's on the aircraft carrier in the Bermuda Triangle. There are dozens of marshals present as witnesses, but he hasn't publicly admitted it in the news yet. I suggest you go and interview him. If he doesn't dare to accept the challenge, then pretend I didn't say anything. But we humans have a strong culture of martial arts. I still hope that he will accept the challenge publicly. Jiang Li's words were very appropriate. He's a person running for president. If he doesn't take responsibility at all, then he'll disappoint all humans in the world. Marshal Jiang Li, you're also a member of the Jiang family. How can you fight with your own family? Don't you think about the family at all? Lin Na changed the topic. The Jiang family has gone against the law and plotted against me many times. Moreover, The Jiang family has a very scary ideology. That is, they want to restore the monarchy and become the emperor of humanity. How could I allow such a thing to happen? Zhongli took the opportunity to smear the Jiang family. Using this opportunity, he said that the Jiang family wanted to restore the monarchy in front of 500 billion people. This had a great impact on Jiang Haiyang's votes. Restore the monarchy? That is indeed a regression of history. I think no family would have such an idea. I think Marshal Zhongli, you're smearing the Jiang family. Lin Na refused to be fooled and wanted to say something fair. Is that so? I don't think so. As everyone knows, Jiang Nalan of the Jiang family is a saint. He's getting more and more powerful, and he's devouring heaven's will in the cultivation world. Once he successfully grasps the entire heaven's will, he'll be the god of humanity. He can build a divine kingdom for humans to live in. No human can resist him, not even a saint. At that time, the monarchy will be bestowed by God. With the power of God, he'll implement a monarchy. Who can resist? After all, the entire universe is a society of power. Of course, Zhongli said righteously, so I definitely won't allow this to happen. Bang! At this moment, at the Jiang family's base, countless experts of the Jiang family were watching the live broadcast. One of the marshals from the Jiang clan, Jiang Wuxiu, was enraged. He slammed his palm on the table and said, "Preposterous! He's a lunatic. We have to get rid of him. We've done so much to get more votes, but he killed us with just a few words. How can there be justice if we don't kill him?" "Calm down," Jiang Wuya said calmly. "This time, he's digging his own grave. He's dead for sure. If we didn't do this, he could have lived for a while longer. Now, he has no choice but to die. How should we deal with him?" Jiang Haitian was trembling with anger. According to blood relations, Jiang Li was his grandson. Now that such a big problem had happened, he couldn't absolve himself from the blame. This little bastard. If I really wanted to eat his flesh and drink his blood, I'm guilty. I gave birth to an unfilial son and a rebellious grandson. I must make them go back to the furnace and be reborn. Of course you're guilty, but I won't pursue it for now. Jiang Weia looked at Jiang Haitian. Whether it's Jiang Zhendong or Jiang Li, of course, we have to kill them. But now that they've said on the live broadcast, we have to respond. Jiang Haitian, are you ready? I won't explain too much, Jiang Haitian said. You don't even need to accept the interview. The more you explain, the worse it will get. Just respond with one sentence. Accept the challenge. Chapter 385. Just as Jiang Li was being interviewed, more than 500 billion people around the world watched his speech. In the interview, he viciously discredited the Jiang family, which caused the Jiang family to lose many votes. Of course, this was all based on the premise that he could defeat Jiang Haiyang. If he was killed by Jiang Haiyang in a month, then there would be no need to mention it. After his interview, the Jiang family also sent out a message to accept the challenge. They didn't say anything unnecessary. Silence. Jiang Li knew that this was the right way to deal with the situation. In the current situation, he had nothing to lose. The other party had too many misgivings. The more he explained, the worse it would be. Therefore, he simply didn't respond and only accepted the challenge. As long as they could kill him in future battles, everything would be fine. In the following month, Jiang Li would have to focus on his cultivation. Normal breathing exercises wouldn't work at all. Unless he cultivated with Jiang Xinyue, he could increase his cultivation again. However, he didn't know where Jiang Xinyue was now. Fortunately, Jiang Li had everything planned out. He knew that once the challenge with Jiang Haiyang was announced, the Jiang family's enemies would definitely come looking for him. For example, the Wang family. The Wang family's higher-ups would definitely support him. As expected, the next day, an important figure from the Wang family came to the Red Emperor Corporation. Other than that, there were also Jiang Li's old friends, Wang Changrong and Wang Rulai. This important figure was the expert in the presidential election, Wang Mierong. He was the main character in the presidential election, competing against Jiang Haiyang. It was rumored that his and Jiang Haiyang's support were about the same, but he would definitely be at a disadvantage in the real election because of Jiang Nalan's support. However, Jiang Li had given him a chance. If Jiang Li could defeat Jiang Haiyang the day before the presidential election. Then no one would be able to compete with him. Everyone wanted the position of president because they would be able to control the Lord's optical computer, which would greatly improve their strength and cultivation. There were even a few saints among the humans, including the former president, who had become saints because they had obtained the support of the Lord's optical computer. Wang Miron was tall and straight. He looked middle-aged, but he was actually over 70 years old. However, for those in the meditative mind state, 70 years was about 1/8 or even 1/10 of their lifespan. His days were still long. He was dressed in a form-fitting robe with purple patterns on it. His aura was restrained and not extravagant, but it was very stylish. His arms were long, and his palms were wide. Anyone who saw him would feel a sense of tranquility, as if he could protect everything. This image of him was tantamount to a guardian of mankind. So there were a lot of votes. Jiang Li, your reputation is not as good as meeting you in person. As soon as he spoke, Wang Miron was very polite. Without waiting for Wang Rulai and Wang Changrong's introduction, he went straight to the point. This time, when I heard that you challenged Jiang Haiyang, I immediately came here to tell you that Jiang Haiyang is unfathomable and has practiced many trump cards. No one knows him better than I do. He is not easy to deal with, and there is little hope that you will not be killed by him. He was worried that Jiang Li would not be killed, not that Jiang Li could defeat Jiang Haiyang. In fact, everyone was worried about this problem. No one was optimistic about Jiang Li. Mr. Miron must be here to help me increase my strength. Jiang Li did not care. Wang Miron was speaking the truth. If I am killed or defeated by Jiang Haiyang, his power will be even stronger. It will be just a matter of time before he becomes the president. However, if he is defeated by me, his reputation will be ruined and he will never be able to raise his head again. This time, I have gotten rid of a scourge for the Wang family. How about it? If you don't help me, there is no justice in this world. Ha ha. Jiang Li, you are indeed a straightforward person. Wang Changrong laughed. At the end of the day, I still owe you a favor. If you had not brought me down from Rakshasa planet, I might have died on that planet. Wang Changrong was originally a big director of the Red Emperor Group. However, since Marshal Goliath took over the Red Emperor Group, he knew that he could not stay there any longer, so he returned to the Wang family. Now that Jiang Li had gotten rid of Goliath, he came back to build a relationship. Jiang Li looked at him and thought of the days when he was still weak. He felt a warmth in his heart when he was protected by Wang Miron. Jiang Li, I thought you would have to wait for a while before you broke through. I didn't expect you to advance so quickly. You chased that damn Goliath out in one fell swoop. Young the Arch even imprisoned and refined Saint Sisa. Our Wang family will have to rely on your support in the future. Wang Rulai was also very happy. That's not the point yet. Jiang Nalan has already found Young the Arch and seems to be about to kill him. There is an earth-shattering battle between them that will decide my fate and even the fate of the entire human race. Jiang Li smacked his lips as though he had just eaten a bitter pill. No one can intervene in this matter. We can only leave it to fate. However, it seems like we can grab hold of any opportunity. Mr. Rongmia, as long as you become the president, you will have the power of a saint. You will be able to protect us. That's true. However, Jiang Nalan's power is getting stronger. Wang Miron sighed. I'm afraid that he will really plunder the cultivation world's will. When that happens, no one will be able to stop him. I have an idea. Jiang Li thought for a while. However, we still have to solve Jiang Haiyang's problem first. There are 2 steps. The first step is to defeat Jiang Haiyang. Then, he will not have the ability to run for president. On the other hand, if Mr. Miron becomes president, he will have the ability to fight against Jiang Nalan. The second step is me. I will take this opportunity to break through to the next realm. Now, I am at the second tier of the embryonic breathing realm. If I break through to the mixed essence breath, I will have the ability to kill Jiang Haiyang. If I break through to the meditative memory realm, I might have the ability to fight against a saint. If Jiang Li's words were said by someone else, no one would believe it. This was because the difference between the meditative memory realm and the saint was too big. Even if it was the third tier of the meditative memory realm, the stage of forgetting the world and nurturing a small world in the body, it would still be difficult to compare with a saint. A saint's thought could make people like Sidhu Woody miserable. Therefore, there was a huge divide between the saint and the meditative memory realm. Once a saint became a saint, he would be almost invincible. He would be high above the mortal world, and there would be no trace of him. The meditative memory realm was still a commoner. Otherwise, since ancient times, the martial cultivators would not have said, "It is difficult for a nether spirit to become a saint after 10,000 tribulations." Even if one went through 10,000 tribulations, it would still be difficult to enter the path of a saint. However, Zhongli was different. He had now displayed an unbelievable magnum opus, using the embryonic breathing realm to fight against the meditative memory realm. Step by step, he had walked a path that no one had walked before. If he advanced to the meditative memory realm, he might really have the ability to fight against a saint. In fact, Zhongli also knew clearly that the meditative memory realm had the ability to communicate with all kinds of dimensions, condense a big stratagem, and roam the world. If his great dream seal reached the meditative memory realm, it would be thousands of times stronger than the normal meditative memory realm. His ability to communicate with dimensions would also be very strong. At that time, he would be able to completely control the Emperor's relic and restore it to its former glory. Thinking about it, the Master God's optical computer had the ability to control the entire human race, even though it was only a virtual divinity, let alone the Emperor's relic, which was a true God divinity. The Great Emperor's seal, in addition to the meditative memory realm and the power of the true God divinity of the Emperor's relic, Zhongli could fight against a saint. Good, that's what I wanted to hear. Wang Mirong said, "However, Zhongli, there's nothing I can do to help you increase your cultivation at your level. Even if I'm a saint, I can only guide you in your cultivation. You'll still have to rely on yourself to cultivate. That's why I've only brought you one thing this time. I hope you can comprehend it." "What is it?" Zhongli was a little curious. "It's just a piece of calligraphy." Wang Mirong took out a box that was the color of white jade. He did not open it, but when he took it out, there seemed to be the roars of tigers and dragons, and the whistling of the clouds and winds. It was as if a supreme existence was about to come out and appear in this world. This word was written by our old ancestor, Wang Chao, and it's no small matter. Many years ago, on a stormy night, our old ancestor suddenly comprehended the heavenly Tao and became the first person in human history to ascend to the saint realm. Thus, under the influence of the heavens, he wrote this word. At that moment, he seemed to have seen all sorts of changes in the future, so he wrote this word down. He said that in the future, there would be a peerless genius who looked exactly like him. At that time, we can give this word to him to comprehend. Wang Mirong said word by word. Our Wang family has kept this word for many years, but no one has been able to comprehend the profound meaning behind it. Originally, we thought that the peerless genius of the human race was Jiang Nalan, and that he was worthy of the word peerless. However, he was determined to go against our Wang family, and even wanted to harm our Wang family's foundation. Therefore, we definitely won't give this to him. But now, it seems that he can't be considered a peerless genius. The true peerless genius is you. At least, when Jiang Nalan was at your cultivation level, he couldn't compare to you. "Oh, what word is that?" Jiang Li's curiosity was piqued when he heard what Wang Mirong said. "Just open it and take a look." Wang Mirong handed the painting to Jiang Li. Jiang Li immediately opened the box and saw a scroll lying in it. There seemed to be countless musical notes coming from it, and they were all spiritual waves. His expression became extremely solemn in an instant. Then, he slowly unfolded the scroll as if he was opening up a world. He found that there was indeed a word on it. It was written in ancient Huaxia characters, and it was the word dream. That's right, it was the word dream. The word was distorted, but it looked extremely strong and rising. Every stroke was like a divine dragon swinging its tail, soaring in the universe. Boom! In his eyes, the word dream seemed to have come alive, constantly emitting a kind of power a kind of might that wanted to make the world illusory. With the word dream as the center, Zhongli felt that all matter in the world became unreal and the three realms became empty. There seemed to be no difference between the physical realm and the void realm. The word dream actually had the ability to illusory matter, break the barrier between the three realms, destroy the world, and return to chaos. Zhongli felt that his soul was swaying rapidly, and he could no longer tell what was real and what was illusory. He was drenched in sweat in an instant. Chapter 386. Wang Chao had actually written the word dream. This coincided with the profound meaning of Jiang Li's Great Dream Seal. However, this was not surprising. Any expert who cultivated to the highest realm would feel like the boundless universe was like a dream. Even the Buddhist ancestor sighed with emotion. Everything that had been done was like a dream. Even the countryside dreamed of butterflies. However, Wang Chao's dream contained the profound meaning of heaven and earth. It contained the spirit of enlightenment, and in that instant of enlightenment, it seemed to sense all the changes in the future. Thus, he left this word for Zhongli. This word was really left for Zhongli. Only Zhongli could understand the true meaning of this word. No one else in the Wang clan could understand it. Very good, very good. After looking for a long time, Zhongli suddenly laughed. With this word, I can continue to comprehend it and shorten my realm. This is the resources I need. Originally, I had a lot of questions about comprehending the mixed essence breath realm, but now it's smooth sailing. What exactly is going on? What did you comprehend from this dream word? Wang Mierong could not understand. Many experts in the Wang clan had tried to comprehend this word, but they did not understand it. He did not believe that Zhongli could see some clues. It seems that Senior Wang Chao already knew that Jiang Nailin would do whatever she wanted, so he prepared in advance. He left this dream word behind so that I could comprehend its essence and fight against Jiang Nailin in the future. This is really planning for a rainy day. Zhongli rolled up the word. I will accept this gift. Your cultivation doesn't seem to have an immediate increase. Wang Mierong still could not understand. Of course, cultivation is cultivation, and enlightenment is enlightenment. Once I comprehend it, I will have to cultivate it and transform it into true strength. Zhongli sat cross-legged. Suddenly, a flame appeared on his palm and lit the word on fire. You! Wang Mierong stood up in shock. He did not know what Zhongli was trying to do. Zhongli waved his hand. It's nothing. I'll extract the word spirit and absorb it into my body. I'll slowly refine it. As for the paper, it's all illusory. As expected, the painting burst into flames. In the end, the paper turned into ashes. However, the word dream was left behind. It floated in the air and did not dissipate. The dream character had been written by Wang Chao when he reached sane enlightenment. It was not a type of power, but rather an indestructible spirit. It was the condensation of his soul, the manifestation of divinity, and was virtually immortal. Zhongli had burned the calligraphy, but the words were still floating in the air. No flames could melt them, and no explosions could destroy them. Even if a nuclear bomb were to blast them, the words would still exist. Dream for thousands of autumns. What year is it? Zhongli clasped his palms together, and a circle appeared. A wave of psychic energy spread out, enveloping the dream character. The dream character began to shrink, entering his palms. It seemed to be combining with the Great Dream Seal, unleashing a miraculous power. Not bad, not bad. Zhongli swallowed the word into his stomach and discovered that the word dream was still floating. He would gradually use his psychic energy to touch the dream character, absorbing the essence of Wang Chao's enlightenment into his body. After refining it, his understanding of the Great Dream Seal would deepen. This thing would not increase his energy, nor would it increase his psychic energy, but it would open his mind and allow him to see further into the distance and cultivate the path ahead of him. That was the most important thing. It was like a person slowly fumbling through the endless night, taking countless detours. Suddenly, a bright light appeared in front of him, illuminating his future. In the future, his cultivation would not go wrong. In this way, Jiang Li's cultivation increased by leaps and bounds. Originally, it was absolutely impossible for Jiang Li to comprehend the primordial chaos breath realm in a month. But with the help of this dream word, comprehending the primordial chaos breath wasn't difficult at all. It would even be of great help to his meditative state. Jiang Li, you are really talented. Wang Mirong took 2 steps forward. No one in the Wang family can absorb this dream character, but you can. It seems that our Wang family's ancestor really prepared it for you. Since he calculated this, you will not have any problems dealing with Jiang Haiyang. Wang Rulai also said happily, I have absolute confidence in my family's ancestor. He really calculated this. Originally, I did not have any hope for you, because we all know Jiang Haiyang's strength. But now it is not certain. The Wang family had an absolute admiration for Wang Chao. It is not suitable for me to stay here. Otherwise, the public will say that we colluded to deal with the Jiang family. Wang Mirong said this and left in a hurry. Wang Rulai and Wang Changrong stayed. Jiang Li, we are all watching you this time. You must destroy Jiang Haiyang. Wang Rulai looked Jiang Li up and down. Back then, your strength was far inferior to mine. Now, you have become one of the strongest human beings. In the future, you can even compete with saints. Where did this come from? This is all an opportunity. Jiang Li could not help but sigh. You can cultivate here these days. I will find a chance to increase your strength. At the same time, I will also increase Mr. Changrong's strength. I already know. Wang Changrong said something that made no sense. So the 2 of us will stay here. What does Mr. Changrong know? Jiang Li did not understand. I know that you're working with the Yin Huang Corporation and that you can purify their Yin Huang dragon blood, activating the power of the ancestral dragon in our Chinese bloodline. We will have earth-shattering power. Wang Changrong smiled. We are staying because we want to obtain some purified Yin Huang dragon blood. With this, we can cultivate and return to our roots. We want to see if we can recover the mystiques of the Ancestor God period and have the power of Fuxi, Niuhua, and the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. That's certainly possible. Jiang Li's eyes flashed. You can cultivate here at the Red Emperor Corporation and interact with my mentor, Hong Heiyu. Other than that, there are some secret matters that I will need to trouble you with. I will go negotiate with the Yin Huang Corporation now. There is no need. A voice came from afar. Then, another person appeared in the hall. It was Yi-Wen. She smiled faintly. What a hero, what courage. You actually did something big so quickly and directly challenged Jiang Haiyang. Amazing. Yin Huang Corporation is working with me now. Do you support me or oppose me? Jiang Li's words were neither soft nor hard, which suited his style. Of course I support you. Yi-Wen did not seem to feel anything. So I brought a large amount of Yin Huang dragon blood this time and need you to purify it. These 2 are experts from the Wang family, right? I will form a good relationship with them and give you the purified Yin Huang dragon blood. How about that? Thank you, thank you. Wang Changrong stood up and clasped his hands together. My Wang family and the Yin Huang Corporation have a good relationship. Today's favor will be greatly repaid in the future. It doesn't matter. We all support Jiang Li. Yi-Wen smiled. It's a pity that he's not a presidential candidate this time, so he can't be elected. However, if he can kill Jiang Haiyang this time, then 4 years later, the next president will definitely be him. After 4 years as president, his cultivation will soar, and he might even become a saint. In other words, in 8 years, Jiang Li might become a saint. If this treasure is not placed on him, who should it be placed on? As she spoke, Yi-Wen flung out a large amount of Yin Huang dragon blood into the blood pool in the center of the hall. After which she said to Jiang Li, after the Yin Huang dragon blood transforms, the 2 of you can soak in it and absorb the medicinal energy. Atavism and spirit refinement can be used. The Wang family's mystic arts can help you with this, so you don't need my guidance. I have some questions I want to ask Marshal Jiang Li. You want to talk alone? Jiang Li saw that Yi-Wen had come with ill intentions. Yes, may I? Yi-Wen's tone was a little strange. All right, Jiang Li said and flew up. Yi-Wen also disappeared into the air. This woman is so powerful. Who is she? Wang Rulai said. I see that Jiang Li seems to be a little afraid of her. This woman is not a good person. The Yin Huang group is sneaky and specializes in gene potions. There are many experts in it. Let's see how Jiangli handles it. We can use the Yin Huang dragon blood to raise our cultivation. Wang Changrong looked at the dragon blood gene potion in the blood pool. These are troubled times. We have to prepare for our funeral. Above the blue sea and blue sky, Jiang Li and Hewen stood in midair. Hewen was not in the embryonic breathing realm, so it was impossible for her to stand so steadily. But now, she was motionless. She did not even activate her connate gang qi. It was as if her body was weightless. Jiang Li did not know what cultivation she had. Hewen, you really hide your strength. It's a waste of your talent to be a small secretary. Jiang Li knew that Hewen definitely had something important to say when she asked him to meet. But he did not speak first. Instead, he teased, "Our Red Emperor group needs a talent like you. What price do you think it will take for you to come and work for me?" Marshal Jiang Li. Hewen did not care about Jiang Li's teasing. "I brought you to worship the dragon deity." Good move. You actually used the trick of changing the sky and diverting the power of the dragon deity. Are you deceiving and blaspheming the dragon deity? Thus, you stole the power of the dragon dimension and committed a heinous crime. I don't understand what you are talking about. Jiang Li was shocked, but his expression did not change. Madam Hewen, are you questioning me? Watch your tone and words. I am a marshal. Only the president can question me like this. All right, don't be bureaucratic. Hewen waved her hand. She seemed to be a little impatient. I cooperated with you because I hoped that you would be sincere in making the Hua Xia bloodline the master of the humans. You actually dare to cheat. The dragon deity is furious. Now you're in big trouble. Do you know that? Why do you say that? Jiang Li still pretended to be confused. Don't play dumb. You know very well. Hewen's tone suddenly became fierce. At this point, I will tell you the truth. I'm not a human from Earth. I am a dragon. I descended from the dragon dimension. What? Jiang Li hesitated. Although he had his suspicions, he never thought that Hewen would dare to say it in front of him. Suddenly, a murderous intent rushed into his heart. He was about to attack. You want to kill me? Hewen laughed. You can't kill me. I will still overturn the rivers and seas in the human society. Do you believe me? Moreover, you are now surrounded by enemies. Jiang Haiyang is about to kill you, and you still dare to turn against me? Your time of death will soon come, and your entire family will be annihilated. Why did I reveal my identity at this time? It is to tell you that you are trapped in the vortex. Only I can help you. Only I can help you defeat Jiang Haiyang and kill Jiang Nailin at the same time. Chapter 387. He didn't expect Hewen to reveal her identity. She was putting everything on the line and wasn't afraid that Jiang Li would expose this matter. This was a risky move because human society couldn't tolerate the appearance of extraterrestrial creatures. Any extraterrestrial creature, even those weaker than humans, had to be killed to maintain the purity of human bloodline. Not to mention the dragon race. If the dragon race appeared among humans, the higher-ups would be furious and send countless experts to hunt them down. However, Hewen saw the current situation and directly said this to Jiang Li, which meant to force him to abdicate. I'll tell you the secret. Do as you see fit. If you don't obey me, I'll make you shut up forever. Jiang Li also understood what she meant. Hewen chose this time to say it. It was perfect. Jiang Li was now at a critical moment in his decisive battle with Jiang Haiyang. In this 1 month, he had to desperately cultivate. At the very least, he had to advance to the primordial chaos breath realm. If the dragon race opposed him at this time, then it would be extremely dangerous. Seeing that Jiang Li was silent, Hewen said again, Jiang Li, there are 2 paths in front of you. First, completely cooperate with the dragon race. Then, you will become the leader of humans. Second, offend the dragon race to the death. To tell you the truth, my strength isn't below Jiang Haiyang's. If I become your enemy before your battle with Jiang Haiyang, what will you do? Good move, good timing, really good choice. It seems that I only have one path. That is to rely on the dragon race. Jiang Li suddenly raised his head. However, if you want me to believe in the dragon race saint behind you, I advise you to give up. I won't believe in anyone, not even a god. If you want to cut off my path of cultivation, then let's fight. At most, I'll run to the cultivation world. As long as I don't die, I'll always have a chance to make a comeback. If you want to cause trouble on Earth, then do it. What does it have to do with me? He threw caution to the wind and said, Do you think you forced me to a dead end? But you don't know that I can give up everything at any time. At most, I won't fight Jiang Haiyang. Oh, Yuan was shocked. If you don't fight Jiang Haiyang and run away, you won't have a place among humans anymore. So what? Jiang Li smiled contemptuously. Do I still care about this reputation? Who would dare to say anything when I become a saint in the future? Kill Jiang Haiyang and wash away the humiliation with his blood. He can even endure the humiliation of being groped. Why can't I? You're ruthless, but can you run? Yuan was still smiling. What? Do you want to fight to the death? Jiang Li grabbed at the air, and a mass of energy condensed in his palm. Jiang Li, will not compromise for anyone. Do you think you can suppress me by choosing this moment? What a joke. When the Jiang family tried to oppress me, Saint Sisa also tried to do the same. What happened to him in the end? I can't even find a whole corpse now, let alone you. It looks like you've made up your mind. Yuan was also overflowing with killing intent. Come on, I'm going to fight Jiang Haiyang anyway. Let me see how strong you are. It's going to warm up before I fight Jiang Haiyang. I might be able to break through if I can train myself. Jiang Li spread his arms wide, as if he was going to embrace the world. He would never make any compromises. Back then, he wasn't afraid that Saint Sisa would dare to play tricks. Now that he was 1,000 times stronger than before, why would he compromise? You want to fight me? Yuan smiled softly. The energy waves from our battle can be detected by countless satellites on Earth. At the same time, I might be surrounded and killed. Your idea is good. It's good that you know. I'm not afraid of you killing innocent people on Earth and causing destruction, because there's no other way. If humans want to rise in the universe, how can we do it without blood and death? Jiang Li's eyes were resolute. Actually, I already knew that you're an extraterrestrial being, an expert of the dragon race. However, I've always feigned civility with you because I was afraid that you would start a massacre among humans. But now I've thought it through. Humans can only become strong after going through the baptism of blood and fire. Kill me. I'll take your blood and use it as a sacrifice in the future. You won't die, but I won't die with you. Yuan seemed to be suppressed, but she didn't care. Since that's the case, I'll control you with my mind and make you convert to the dragon race. You don't know, but the dragon race's secret mind technique is second to none in the countless dimensions and races of the universe. Die! Jiang Li suddenly punched, not wasting any words. However, just as he was about to throw a punch, Yuan suddenly formed a seal with her hands and chanted, Dragon! Buzz! A loud sound shook Jiang Li's soul. This was a mind attack, a hypnosis technique, because it was not suitable for the two of them to fight at this time. After all, Yuan was also afraid of death on Earth. However, the dragon race's mind power was very strong, and Yuan's cultivation realm was very high. This way, she could completely hypnotize Jiang Li. Hypnosis didn't have any energy waves, so it couldn't be detected by technology. It could be said that the Battle of Souls was a forbidden zone for technology. When the word dragon came out, Jiang Li fell into a strange space. The ocean in front of him disappeared, and in its place was a chaotic world. Many dragons surrounded him, chanting incantations. The incantations turned into ropes and tied him up. Yuan's voice came from the depths of his soul. Jiang Li, according to your human classification, my cultivation is the third level of meditation, the level of forgetfulness. My energy is stronger than yours, and my life force is far beyond yours. My mind is also far beyond yours. This time, I'll suppress and hypnotize you, and you won't have any chance to resist. This is the incantation of the dragon race, called the Dragon God Vanquishing Incantation. It's the incantation of the dragon race to fight against the gods. Countless dragons chant the incantation together, and their minds condense together, shaking the great Tao of heaven and earth. It can even suppress and destroy the gods, let alone you. Buzz, 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 dense dragon runes appeared in his spiritual sea, and they wrapped around Jiang Li's soul. This was the taboo of the dragon race. Dragon god, vanquishing incantation. This incantation surpassed the Jiang family's sun-moon, godly king incantation. Each incantation contained the strongest essence of the dragon race. It could be said that each word was a dragon, and each word was 1,000 years. Even if Siddhu Wudi came, he might not be able to block it, let alone Jiang Li. Jiang Li was in trouble. He knew that if this dragon race incantation continued, he would be doomed, and his soul would become a slave. But who was he? He had long comprehended life and death. So how could he be easily hypnotized? 1,000 autumns of the great dream? He put his palms together and concentrated his mind. Instantly, his vast mental power started to turn into many bubbles. One dream, one reincarnation, one thought, one world. In his body, mental power gathered, and each thought became a world. This was the highest realm of Buddhism. With a thought, the Gautama Buddha could create 1,000 worlds. Millions of thoughts intertwined with each other, and that was millions of worlds. Although there was no collision of energy, this kind of mental battle was more dangerous than a collision of energy. If he lost control, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. What a divine art! He would increase the intensity of her mental hypnosis. Dragons are born from chaos. When the aura of yin and yang intersects, the bloodline is born, and the laws intertwine. The dragon is born. This was the dragon race's secret art, the Holy Dragon Scripture. It described the origin of the dragon race, and each sentence seemed to be augmented by the supreme civilization of the dragon race. In Jiang Li's mind, he seemed to see a divine dragon appear in the sky, devouring the sun and moon. It occupied the starry sky, and the supreme planets were just scales on its body. The ancient starry sky itself was the dragon's body. This was the dragon that ruled the world. A vast pressure suddenly descended, and his soul felt like it was about to shatter. If it had been the previous day, he would have been in great danger from He Wen's pressure. But today, just an hour ago, he had obtained the dream word written by Wang Chao. Although he hadn't refined it, he had absorbed it into his body. This played a key role in the mental battle. Under the powerful pressure, the dream word became clearer and clearer, as if it had given birth to an eternal light. It spun continuously in Jiang Li's body, up and down, left and right, front and back, as if it was the only one in the world. Jiang Li's soul fused with the word dream. He seemed to see a young man suddenly comprehending the Tao in the middle of a stormy night. Suddenly, all of his spirit materialized and came to the mortal world from the void. It was almost indestructible, neither increasing nor decreasing. The soul, coming from the void to the real world, was just a dream. The true realm was right in front of him. Therefore, everyone had to cultivate. Using the illusion of the body, one could seek the truth. Dreams were the pursuit of the truth, a process of cultivation. That youth was Wang Chao, the number one human. The dream he left behind was his own comprehension of the path of the sage. The essence of cultivation was contained within, and Jiang Li's Emperor's dream imprint was the key to this treasure trove of thoughts. This way, no matter how much He Wen used her mental pressure, Jiang Li's spiritual light would not be extinguished. A spiritual light was a treasure of the great Tao. As long as the soul had light, it was alive and had its own independent self. Under the pressure, not only did Jiang Li's spiritual light not extinguish, it was like a bright lamp, getting brighter and brighter, more and more resplendent. In the endless darkness, a lamp was lit. This is the start of my counterattack. Jiang Li sensed the changes and seemed to understand a lot. Many of the impurities in his soul were being removed under the pressure. He felt as if he was refining the dream word. At the same time, he felt a mixed element aura. Mixed element was the vital qi before the creation of the world. And compared to humans, mixed element was one's life. What was the mental state before one was born? Everyone came from the void. At the moment of birth, the soul also descended from the void into the body, like rain falling on the earth from the sky. The third tier of the embryonic breathing realm, mixed element breath, did not mean breathing. Instead, it was a mental state. It was a person's search for themselves, the mental state before they were born. In this battle, Zhongli seemed to have found this mental state. In other words, he was gradually understanding what mixed element breath was. Chapter 388. True meaning of primordial chaos, great Tao Samsara. Zhongli had comprehended the true essence of the primordial chaos breath. Although he had not truly reached the primordial chaos breath realm, he had a vague understanding of what it was like before he was born. Before a person's soul was born, it was like a piece of pure white paper. When it came to the mortal world, it would be stained with all kinds of ink. The realm of the third realm of the embryonic breathing realm, mixed primordial breathing realm, was to return to the origin, expelling the impurities deep in the soul, allowing the soul to maintain the congenital realm at all times. It could be said to be returning to simplicity. Therefore, the primordial chaos breath realm was also known as the heart of a newborn. It was like a baby returning to its mother's body before it was fully formed. Cultivation was originally a reverse process. From embryonic breath to the holy embryo to the primordial chaos, it was equivalent to returning from the embryo to nothingness. According to the normal development of humans, the right path was for the fetus to gradually grow into an adult. This was what it meant to become an immortal by going against the flow, and becoming a man by going against the flow. At the primordial origin breath realm, one soul would be free of impurities at all times. It would be as white as jade, untainted by the filth of the mortal world. Their mind would be clear, and their soul force would be greatly enhanced. They would even be able to comprehend the pre-celestial. Rumble. Zhongli instantly gathered his mental strength. The dream character seemed to fade a little. This meant that he was about to begin refining the dream character and reach the primordial chaos breath realm. Although he had yet to truly comprehend the primordial chaos breath, he truly understood what it was. As long as he comprehended it, he would be able to cultivate and advance in the future without any bottlenecks. His soul trembled. All the dragon's spirit incantations collapsed, disintegrated, and turned into ashes. Yiwen's eyes suddenly burst with a bright light. Her body retreated a few steps, as if she wanted to dodge Jiang Li's mental attack. Jiang Li did not attack. Instead, he stood still and laughed at Yiwen. "How is it? You can't do anything to me, and your spiritual attack is also useless. I have to thank you for your suppression, allowing me to comprehend a bit of the mysteries of primordious breath, allowing the impurities in my soul to be greatly removed." He has returned to his Xiantian appearance. "Why are you like this?" Yiwen couldn't figure out either. "Why is your mind so strong? What did you get? Advancing by leaps and bounds? This is what it means to be a genius of heaven and earth." Jiangli roared again and again. "The stronger the opponent, the more I can unleash my full strength. No one can stop me, and the same goes for the dragon race. Do you still want me to believe in the dragon god? I have to admit, Jiangli, your cultivation is very strong. It's beyond my imagination." Yiwen's tone suddenly softened. "However, we are not enemies. Perhaps we can cooperate." "Cooperate? How can I cooperate with you if you're not of my race?" Jiangli did not make a move. He knew that although he could resist the hypnosis, he might not be able to resist the martial arts of the other party. "I can help you deal with the Jiang family." Yiwen seemed to have a card up her sleeve. She had already thought of a plan. As long as she could not deal with Jiang Li, she would start to appease him. "How?" Jiang Li knew that this was not a good time to fight. "How can I trust you? How would I know? If I cooperate with you and end up being swallowed by you, who will I look for? The dragon race is trustworthy. Do you think it's the same as you humans?" Yiwen said seriously, "It's easy to deal with the Jiang family. As long as you help us open the passage, the dragon race will descend, occupy Earth, and refine it. We can immediately head to the cultivation world and destroy Jiangnalan. If I'm not wrong, Earth is a supreme magic treasure, a supreme transmission array that can reach any world. If we can control this magic treasure, It won't be difficult for all the people on Earth to teleport to the cultivation world. Hee hee, you want to hit Earth? That's a good idea. Jiang Li's eyes were filled with killing intent. Earth is a magic treasure that is coveted by countless people. Humans on Earth are too weak. We can't protect them at all. Hewen continued, however, since you're going to carry out the Great Migration, it doesn't matter. We will promise you that all the humans on Earth will be migrated to the Dragon Clan. The efficiency is so high that it is not something that your so-called technology can compare to. The Dragon race can even use the Infinite Realms teleportation to duplicate Earth and hypnotize all the humans. Then, in one night, everyone will move to the new Earth and bring this new Earth into the cultivation world. Anyone's property, even real estate, can be kept. The Dragon race has such great magical power? I don't believe it. Jiang Li was moved. However, even if I promise you, the upper echelons of humanity won't agree to this. If you move the humans on Earth, the saints will be alarmed. How can I be a human? I'm not the president now. I can't decide these things. It doesn't matter. As long as you can open the passage, the Dragon race will descend with absolute force. He didn't care. Our Dragon dimension is incomparably huge. The cultivation world is like a speck of dust in front of the Dragon dimension. The Dragon race doesn't care about a small half-dimensional plane like the cultivation world. We hope to use Universe 3 as a springboard and Earth as a magic treasure to jump and invade the celestial dimension, which is a celestial world that you've been rumored for generations. There's really a celestial world. Jiang Li's heart stirred. Nonsense. The universe is multifaceted and has countless dimensions. It's boundless, has no beginning or end, and is lifeless and indestructible. The celestial world is just a plane that's stronger than the Dragon dimension. Hewen said disdainfully, where do the celestial chi and celestial stones in the cultivation world come from? Aren't they just absorbing the energy of the celestial world? If all of the Dragon race descend, I can't guarantee the safety of humanity. Zhongli got to the most important point. We'll make an oath about this. We'll use the universal law of the universe, the primal chaos oath, as a witness. You know a little about the primal chaos oath, right? Hewen said, I don't know. Zhongli said, I don't believe in any oath. The primal chaos oath is made in the highest dimension of the universe, the primal chaos dimension. The moment you make the oath, your soul will connect with the will of primal chaos. If you break the oath, you'll die without a cause. Hewen looked at Zhang Li as if he was ignorant. This is the agreement of the high-level races in the universe. If the universe didn't have this agreement, it would be a mess. High-level races, I'll hit you today, and you'll hit me tomorrow. I've never heard of such an oath, and I don't believe it. Jiang Li didn't believe the woman in front of him at all, and he didn't believe what Hewen said either. However, Earth is going to undergo a great migration anyway. If the Dragon race wants to take it, then take it. At least it has some connection to the Huaxia bloodline. It's better than letting the Scion giants take it. Hearing this, Hewen's expression softened. I'm glad you have this thought. This means that you're willing to form a good relationship with the Dragon race. We won't mistreat you. I can open the passage, but not now. Jiang Li's gaze shifted. I don't interact with the Dragon race's saints, but I can cooperate with you. I need you to help me kill a few people first. What do you mean? Hewen became spirited when she heard about killing people. Kill who? Jiang Haiyang? No. Since I challenged Jiang Haiyang, I'll kill him fair and square. To be honest, I'll be lucky if I don't die if I fight him now. It's impossible to kill him, especially in front of so many people. Unless I'm much stronger than him, I need to increase my cultivation and kill a few meditative realm experts. Jiang Li said, so, I need to increase my cultivation and kill a few meditative realm experts. First, Marshal Goliath. Second, Jiang Haichao. Other than them, I think the Jiang family's experts will also come. I need your help. I'm afraid it's not appropriate to kill them on Earth. A battle at the meditative realm will probably move the continents. Hewen waved her hand. I don't want to expose my identity. No, of course I won't kill them on Earth. If I wanted to kill them, I would have done it long ago. Why wait until now? Jiangli laughed sinisterly. Of course, I'll kill them in the cultivation world. That way, I'll be rewarded by heaven's will. Cultivation world? Hewen frowned. That's too far from Earth. How are we going to lure them there? They're not idiots. I have my own plan. In order to gain Hewen's trust, Jiangli went straight to the point. Didn't you say that Earth can lead to many places? Of course, I know this secret, so I found a good place that can lead to the cultivation world. I think your realm should be very strong, similar to Jiang Haiyang's. That's a meditative realm level 3 expert. When the Jiang family comes, help me hypnotize them. Then, let them enter the cultivation world, and I'll kill them one by one. How about that? What? You have a passage to the cultivation world? Hewen asked immediately. Where is it? You'll know sooner or later. However, there's a little trouble with the passage now. I might need your help. Of course, Jiangli wouldn't say it now. Also, that best friend of mine, I don't want him to be in Yanhuang Corporation anymore. It's best for him to enter the cultivation world to train. That's a small matter. Hewen smiled. Since you're willing to tell me your big secret, it's obvious that you have the sincerity to cooperate. I'm an expert of the 3 realms of forgetfulness. Hypnotizing people like Goliath and Jiang Haiyang is something I can do. However, don't include me in your plans. Of course not. Jiangli couldn't help but laugh. Actually, deep in his heart, he was filled with murderous intent. He really wanted to include Hewen in his plans. Because Hewen entered the cultivation world, her realm would be too strong. She would be greatly suppressed by heaven's will, and her strength would definitely be greatly reduced. At that time, if Jiangli killed her in one move, he would receive even more rewards from heaven's will. However, now that the other party was on guard, he might as well give up and see if there's a chance. How about we cooperate like this? You help me kill people and increase your cultivation. I'll help you open the passage. Jiangli tempted her again. You want to use the spirit of faith to open the passage to the dragon dimension. I think that's a big mistake. Actually, Earth itself has a will. It's just that the will has disappeared now. However, my will can also replace a part of Earth's will. If I advance again, I can completely open the passage to the dragon dimension. Nonsense. Do you think I'll believe you? Hewen didn't believe him at all. Humph. Use your brain and think. Why did I advance to the embryonic breathing realm on Earth and not in the cultivation world? Jiang Li's trump card made Hewen believe him. Don't tell me that I don't know the benefits of advancing to the embryonic breathing realm in the cultivation world. That's really the case. As expected, Hewen fell for it. Chapter 389. What Hewen needed the most right now was to quickly open the passage from the dragon dimension to Earth, which required a lot of faith. However, Jiangli had said that he didn't need to gather faith and that he could open it himself. He had also said that he had already become Earth's heaven's will. Originally, she wouldn't have believed this. However, when Jiangli explained why he had advanced to the embryonic breathing realm on Earth, she was finally moved. Logically, advancing to the embryonic breathing realm was a very important process. The stronger the world, the more benefits one would receive when advancing to the embryonic breathing realm. Hewen had been in the human society for a long time, so she naturally knew that many of the human experts had gone to the cultivation world to advance to the embryonic breathing realm. However, Jiangli did the opposite and came to Earth. There must be something strange about this. Jiangli, I've underestimated you. Hewen suddenly smiled. However, what you said is not true. Advancing to the embryonic breathing realm on Earth can make one the will of Earth? This was probably a joke. Our dragon clan also has some small characters lurking on Earth. We've done many experiments, but none of them worked. My situation is special. Jiang Li sneered. You should be able to feel it, right? What realm am I in right now, and what realm are you in? You can't do anything to me, so how would you know the wonders of my realm? In short, if you help me get rid of the root of the problem, I'll help you open the passage. How about that? It's a deal. I'm not afraid of you running away. Hewen thought about it. There was no other way. Originally, she wanted to suppress Jiang Li with violence, but she couldn't. She had some misgivings. However, you have to swear in the name of chaos that you must help me open the passage and let the dragon race descend. Only then will I agree to your request. I'm sorry, but I don't believe in any oaths, and I won't swear in any name. If it doesn't work, then we'll call it quits. Zhongli refused without even thinking about it. The primal chaos oath would definitely have some effect. He would definitely not be able to make an oath because he would not open the passage for the dragon race to enter at all. Earth was the earth of humans, so he must hold on to it. You won't swear? Then we have nothing to talk about. I will not help you. Hewen laughed involuntarily. Even if it's a business collaboration, we still have to sign a contract. This is a case of murder and arson. What documents do you need to sign? Do you want to give them something to use against you? Zhongli didn't budge an inch. In short, if we work together, we can both benefit. If we don't work together, I don't care. In any case, I comprehended the profundities of the primordial breath during my battle with you. As long as I advance, defeating Zhang Haiyang won't be impossible. But when the time comes, you dragon will have nowhere to run. Hewen was exasperated. This is a naked threat. It seems that you really want to fight to the death. I can tell you are ambitious at first glance. Does he want to borrow my hand to kill the Jiang clan's people, and then turn around to deal with me? You've always done this kind of thing. Who would dare to work with you when you're so treacherous? You think too much. Zhongli didn't admit it at all. I will only believe you if you kill the people of the Jiang family. You are ambitious and want to turn me into a walking dead believer. How can I believe you? Moreover, you will benefit from going against the Jiang family. At the very least, you will know where the passage to the cultivation world that I control is. Hewen's expression was uncertain. She seemed to be calculating something. Suddenly, she seemed to have thought of a key point. All right, I will help you. But when the time comes, you go back on your word and still want to deal with me. I have a way to deal with you. We'll talk about this when the time comes. Zhongli knew that Hewen must be plotting something since she agreed so readily. However, he was secretly vigilant. At the same time, he was also setting a trap. How about this? We can work together fairly. We will both go to the cultivation world to kill the experts of the Jiang family. This way, you will also be rewarded by heaven's will. How about it? I will also be a heresy if I go to the cultivation world. I am an otherworldly demon. Heavens will want to kill me, and I can even get a reward. Aren't you kidding me? Hewen's face was full of disdain. That's not how it is. Zhongli waved his hand. I know you have ambitions for the cultivation world. Your branch of the dragon race might not be able to do it in the dragon dimension. So, I should be able to guess that you have a way to deceive heaven's will in the cultivation world. Am I right? What a powerful person. Hearing Jiang Li's words, Hewen's body trembled. You really are a character. You have everything planned out? Otherwise, why would I lie to Saint Sisa? Jiang Li, I believe you also want to go to the cultivation world. I will share my passage with you. What else do you want? Then it's a deal, Hewen said. From now on, I will follow by your side. Whatever you do, I will do. Whatever. I think there will be people plotting against me this month. You will be in charge of hypnosis. Although my spiritual power is strong, there is still a gap between our realms. I can't hypnotize people who are stronger than me. Another idea came to Zhongli. Your realm is very strong, and so is your spiritual power. We can work together to cultivate hypnosis. When the time comes, we can hypnotize the people of the Jiang family one by one and bring them to the cultivation world. Then, we could do whatever we want. That's true. Your spiritual power is very strong. Hewen thought for a moment. If we can join forces and become one, we will definitely be able to fight against any expert below the saint level. Moreover, I am very curious. Then let's go back. Jiang Li's body flashed and disappeared. He did not return to the Red Emperor group. Instead, he went to a building that had just been built in Xinghua City. This building was also the headquarters of the Red Emperor group. It was very tall, much taller than the Silver Horse building in Xinghua City. Now, it had become a landmark of Xinghua City. At the top of the building was a ball of energy. It burned with an eternal flame. This flame was very soft. It was purple with a touch of green. This was a kind of Medicine King's divine fire, a magical flame from the fire dimension. When this flame was released, it could purify the air, improve people's physique, and kill harmful bacteria, turning the world into a paradise. This was the formation set up by Hong Heiyu. Not to mention in Xinghua City, it was the first of its kind on Earth. With absolute magical power, it communicated with the fire dimension and attracted the Medicine King's divine fire to purify the entire building. It could also spread out, purifying the air of the entire city. It could be seen that there was no haze or any harmful gas in the entire Xinghua City. When people entered Xinghua City and took a breath, they could smell a faint fragrance lingering between their mouth and nose. Their whole body exhaled the old and the new, giving them a feeling of floating in the air. As long as this continued for a long time, the quality of the people in the entire Xinghua City would improve. After the Red Emperor Group built this building, the support rate of the entire city immediately increased several times. The price of houses skyrocketed because everyone felt the benefits. Everyone felt the tangible benefits. The Medicine King's divine fire of the fire dimension good. He nodded secretly. This formation is exquisite. It was set up by Hong Heiyu, right? Why did you make such a big deal in Xinghua City? Why do you guess? Could it be? He suddenly realized. All right, you were also born in Xinghua City. Could it be that under this building is the passage to the cultivation world? Good guess, but you won't be able to find out where the passage is. As soon as Jiang Li's voice fell, Huan's majestic spiritual power permeated every corner of the building. But she couldn't see where the passage was, just like Jiang Li couldn't see where the passage to the imperial city was. After using her spiritual power to search for a while, Huan couldn't find where the passage was. She couldn't help but look at Jiang Li suspiciously. All right, let's cultivate and coordinate with each other. Let's harmonize our mental powers and cultivate a joint attack technique. That way, we won't be flustered in battle. Jiang Li thought for a while. I have a dragon-snake joint attack. Let's practice it and communicate spiritually. Then we can work together to fight against the Jiang family. Dragon-snake joint attack? That's just a common trick. Our dragon clan has the strongest prayer technique, the incantation of eternal dragons. Not to mention two people's mental strength. Even the mental strength of billions of dragons can be gathered together. Huan's face was filled with mockery. For two people to combine their spiritual power and cooperate with each other, it would take a long time to get used to it. If there were three people, it would be much more difficult to get used to because people's minds were different. Even the most elite troops would find it difficult to fuse their spiritual power together to attack the enemy. Even if they were clones, no, their genes were the same, but their minds are different. Every clone was a separate soul. Therefore, humans had never been able to suppress experts with numbers. However, Jiang Li's Zerg race didn't have this problem. Even if there were billions of insects, the spiritual power of the Zerg race could be perfectly combined. However, Jiang Li hadn't mastered the Zerg's spiritual power technology. When he heard Huan's eternal dragon mantra, he was shocked. I have 35,000 worker bees now. Although the spiritual power of each worker bee is very weak, less than one-dimensional unit, when 35,000 are combined, it's not a small number. As the number of Zerg increases in the future, when their spiritual power is combined, it will probably be a great help to me. If I figure out this eternal dragon mantra, I can inject it into the genes of the Zerg race. Won't that be a great help? Moreover, the Zerg race and the dragon race were inseparable. Dragons were the advanced evolution stage of the Zerg race. In the future, when the king insect grew to a certain level, it might even give birth to a dragon. In that case, I'm all ears, Jiang Li said. Let's see how your eternal dragon mantra can make two souls perfectly fused together. It doesn't matter. Huan thought for a moment. I'll teach it to you. This isn't a cultivation technique, but a soul fusion. Once you get it, you'll know the greatness of the dragon race and why we have such great power. Actually, there are 7 to 8 billion humans. If everyone was united, it wouldn't be like this. Speaking of which, if these 8 billion people all pray together and their souls combine, they can completely defeat the cultivation world's will. Chapter 390. There were 800 billion people on Earth. If everyone was like the Zergs and had a unified command, then their spiritual power would be able to overturn rivers and oceans and cut up planets. In the memories of the giants that Zhongli had obtained, many of the giants were praying. When they prayed, their spiritual power would connect together, and they could even mess up the galaxy, completely shift the force field of a star, and mess up the universe. This group of giants was far less than the number of humans. Unfortunately, everyone had their own thoughts. How could they be united? Some people were even incompatible with each other. In a company, in an office, people fought each other. In a family, parents and children were not of one mind. In a government department, superiors and subordinates were wary of each other. As long as the entire human race did not openly fight for power, not to mention being united, it was already good enough. Therefore, it was wishful thinking to hope that the entire human race would be united. Even if it was a human army, it was impossible for everyone to be united. Of course, to know how to use spiritual power, one had to be in a meditative state. If one could not enter a meditative state, one could not even release their spiritual power. There were very few soldiers in the military who could enter a meditative state. They could not even combine their spiritual power. All right, watch my incantation, Seed Rune. At this time, Huan transmitted a series of incantations into Zhongli's mind. When you cultivate this incantation and use it, your spiritual power will vibrate and revolve according to a certain frequency. Huan warned, I will also chant this incantation and gather them together. Gradually, your spiritual power will be able to combine. It will be successful. Zhongli carefully savored this incantation and found that there were tens of thousands of notes. When they were arranged and combined, it was profound. Once he chanted it, the spiritual waves would indeed fluctuate according to a very strong frequency. If Huan also chanted this incantation, it would be like two layers of waves pushing each other higher and higher. After cultivating for a while, Zhongli found that their spiritual power was gradually combining and pushing each other, causing resonance. However, this kind of cultivation allowed Huan to discover many of Zhongli's secrets. Good one, Zhongli. Your spiritual power is really ever-changing. It's faintly discernible, like the drizzle, the spring breeze, the autumn moon, the winter snow, the thunder, and the universe. It's as if you could transform into anything. It's confusing but extremely real. Is this your secret art? Huan praised. Of course, there's actually nothing to hide about my absolute art. As long as we cultivate together in the future, you'll learn my absolute art sooner or later. My philosophy is that no absolute art is actually the most important. The most important thing is that it depends on the person. Zhongli said, in the history of Earth, there were also extraordinary people who did not cultivate any martial arts. They could still comprehend enlightenment and become the strongest beings. That is true. Huan nodded. The two of them cultivated like this for 3 days and 3 nights. Suddenly, Zhongli had an idea. A cruel smile appeared on his face. Zhang Xinyue is here. It seems that the Zhang family has sent people to kill me. However, they're definitely not using energy. They're using hypnosis. If my calculations are correct, the Zhang family will also be training hard in hypnosis. They will definitely send experts to injure me. Is that so? Other than Zhang Nailin, I don't care about anyone else in the Zhang family, including Zhang Haiyang. Huan had even changed the way she addressed him. There was a majestic aura that seemed to control the world. Let's wait and see. The Zhang family will definitely find this place. Zhongli was waiting. At the same time, at the edge of Xinghua City, there were 6 people gathered together. One of them was Zhang Xinyue. The other 2 were Goliath and Zhang Haichao. The other 3 were all people of Huaxia bloodline. 2 were old men, and 1 was a middle-aged man. This time, that little bastard Zhongli has caused us great harm. Originally, he was just messing around and did not cause any harm. Now, he actually wants to harm our presidential election. He must die. An old man, who seemed to have not returned to human society for a long time, said in an angry tone, "What's the big deal about killing a few people? Even if they're marshals, I, Zhang Wuxue, can kill them like chickens." I have killed countless meditative experts in the cultivation world. When I return to Earth, these people are like ants to me. Jiang Wuxiue, don't be stupid. Another old man said, this time, we did not return from the cultivation world to kill people. We just want to injure that little bastard. We want him to be unable to pose any threat to our Jiang Haiyang during the challenge. Then, he will be killed fair and square. This is human society. If we cause a negative impact, it might be detrimental to Jiang Haiyang's election. Jiang Wuhuan, don't lecture me. Don't tell me that I don't know this. Jiang Wuxue's expression was sinister, and he had an evil and domineering aura. However, these humans are indeed very weak. To us, they are not worth mentioning. We still need to rely on their votes to obtain our position. This is simply not in line with the universal truth. When Jiang Nalan becomes the cultivation world's heaven's will, we will suppress these people in one fell swoop. Whoever dares to resist will be killed immediately. Their souls will be thrown into the furnace to be tormented for eternity. This is a matter for the future. Our Jiang clan will definitely become the human race's royal family. We will be immortal. In ancient history, there were no dynasties that lasted for 1,000 years. But now, if Jiang Nalan becomes a god, our Jiang clan will become a dynasty that will last for hundreds of millions of years, or even eternity. Jiang Wuhuan looked greedily at the many cities. Actually, I enjoy the process of ruling over these people. These people, who think that they have been influenced by modern civilization, think that human rights are supreme and that the strong should serve the weak. This is deeply ingrained in their minds. However, they did not expect that when the strong swept over them, their thoughts would be suppressed and changed. I like to see them cry bitterly, and I like to see the truth that they believe to be distorted by us. This way, their resentment will overflow, and it will be my nourishment. Jiang Wuhuan's words completely violated the bottom line of modern civilization. All right, this time, when we attack Jiang Li, we will just hypnotize him and use mental attacks to damage his soul. It will be best if we can get all of his secrets out of him. A middle-aged man, who seemed to be in charge of the overall situation, said, this is our best opportunity. Hong Heiyu is in the capital, and Jiang Li has gone to Starlight City. If Hong Heiyu is here, let's just kill him. Jiang Wuyu, why are you so careful? It seems that after staying in human society for too long, you are bound by the rules and regulations. Jiang Wuxue said disdainfully, but since this is the clan's decision, you will be in charge. I will listen to your arrangements. Marshal Goliath, you have learned the Sun Moon Godly King mantra, right? Jiang Wuyu looked at Goliath. Goliath was extremely vigilant, thinking that the Jiang clan was indeed powerful. These three people actually had no records, and they had never appeared in human society before. They didn't even have photon chips. In other words, if something happened, it would be impossible to find out about their existence. The Jiang clan had a deep foundation, and these three old antiques were very ordinary. Although they were not peak experts like Jiang Haiyang or Siddhu Wudi, they were still experts at the second layer of meditation. They were more than enough to deal with Jiang Li. I have learned it. If the six of us work together, our mental energy will be enough to suppress Jiang Li. We can make him do whatever we want. Goliath looked at the Medicine King Divine Flame in the distance. Why did Jiang Li spend so much to build a formation here? I keep feeling like there's something fishy going on. Capture him and hypnotize him. Everything will be clear. Jiang Wuhuan said fiercely, if it weren't for the fact that we can't use energy in human society, I would have killed him long ago. Is there a need for so many people? Let's go. Infiltrate the Crimson Emperor Corporation's building. He has nowhere to run. Swish, swish. 6 shadows silently appeared on top of the Scarlet Emperor Group's building in Xinghua City. Even the surveillance cameras didn't notice them. Masters in the meditative realm were good at using energy to create a distorted force field that couldn't be detected by the radar. Jiang Li's down there. Let's go down. Jiang Wuxue immediately locked onto a powerful soul. The 6 of them exchanged glances before diving down. Although this building had many seals, they were like paper in front of a meditative tranquil realm expert. In fact, a person like Jiang Wuxue could even blow the entire building away with just a puff of air. In an instant, the six of them arrived at the office at the heart of the building. This office was about 3,000 square meters. Jiang Li was in front of the desk, and there was a female secretary handing him documents. TSK. Jiang Li, you were so lucky. Hiding here and having a secret rendezvous with a female secretary. Jiang Xinyue took a step forward. Jiang Xinyue, I knew you would come. Jiang Li was overseeing the scene. He took 2 steps to the side and covered her mouth in surprise. Who are you guys? Why are you here? You have to make an appointment here. What a joke. This old man has traversed several worlds and killed countless people. Today, I'm here to kill people. Why would I need to make an appointment? Jiang Wuhuan walked out. Little B asterisk starred. How dare you disrupt our Jiang clan's presidential election? It seems that our Jiang clan has an unfilial son like you. We have to get rid of you. You are experts from the Jiang clan? You actually dare to turn out in full force. Jiang Li said angrily. If I announce this matter, what kind of blow will you suffer? The Jiang clan's reputation will be ruined. You still want to run for president? It'll be good enough if you don't go down in history. Little bastard, don't worry. I won't kill you. I'm just going to imprison your soul and wipe away your memories. Don't worry, after today, your strength will be greatly reduced. Moreover, you won't remember anything that happened. Jiang Wuxue laughed heartily, completely unrestrained. To be honest, they were already invincible in human society. They had nothing to fear. What about this woman? Goliath pointed at He-One. Erase her memories as well? It's simple. After we hypnotize Jiang Li, we'll have him kill this female secretary with his own hands. When he wakes up, we'll find a chance to announce that he failed to force her to commit murder. That's also a good thing. Jiang Haichao laughed coldly and started to slander them. Then let's do it. Jiang Wuhuan couldn't be bothered to wait. Godly King curse. However, just as he was about to use it, rumble. The office suddenly shook. A seal surged out from all directions. Spatial power flashed, and the surroundings were densely packed with runes. This place had actually become an independent space. He-Wen's clothes were torn apart, and in their place was a set of battle armor. The scales on the battle armor were ferocious, causing her aura to become like that of a deity. An extinguishable dragon's curse. Jiang Li slammed the table. Instantly, the ground sank. In an instant, the entire space descended into the sewers. A huge magic formation condensed on the ground. At the same time, his consciousness connected with He-Wen's. An extremely powerful wave of consciousness swept across the entire office, invading the minds of the 6 people present. Bang! Marshal Goliath, Jiang Haichao, and Jiang Xinyue had the lowest cultivation. They spat out a mouthful of blood, and their eyes became blank. They looked like the Walking Dead. Chapter 391. Goliath, Jiang Haichao, and Jiang Xinyue couldn't resist He-Wen's hypnosis at all. Who was He-Wen? She was an expert of the Dragon Clan, a top character of the meditative 3 realms. Even Jiang Li, who had the Great Dream Seal, had almost been hypnotized. If he hadn't comprehended the dream word written by Wang Chao, he would most likely have been killed by now. Moreover, He-Wen and Jiang Li had teamed up now. The 2 of them had used the dragon everlasting curse to stack their mental powers together and hypnotize them. They had taken the initiative and instantly destroyed the Jiang clan's plan, causing them to be in a situation of certain death. D***eminent, an expert. He is definitely an expert. Who are you? Speak. Jiang Wuxue, Jiang Wuhuan, and Jiang Wuyu were all peerless experts. In the blink of an eye, the 3 of them combined their mental power to resist Jiang Wuli and He-Wen's hypnosis. They didn't lose their consciousness for now, but they couldn't move either. These 2 old fogies came from the cultivation world. They have soul cards on them. We have to destroy the soul cards to make the cultivation world admit that they are heretics and demons from beyond the heavens. Jiang Li didn't reply to Jiang Wuxue and the other 2's angry roars. Instead, he let out a long roar, and his mental power surged out. At the same time, he opened his mouth and inhaled. Z, 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 Z. Two soul cards were suddenly sucked out of the bodies of the two old fogies, Jiang Wuxue and Jiang Wuhuan. The cards contained extremely strong souls, like an ancient hell. It was unknown how many living beings from the cultivation world they had killed. They were used to conceal the aura of their souls, so that they wouldn't be discovered by the will of the cultivation world. Amazing! Jiangli grabbed the two soul cards in his hands and said, "Teacher, Hong Heiyu can totally use this soul card to enter the cultivation world. These two old fogies can't enter the cultivation world to kill. It's all because the Jiang clan disciples who haven't entered the embryonic breathing realm have to kill for years, or even decades, to accumulate these two soul cards. Only then can they enter. It was impossible for people in the meditative breathing realm to enter the cultivation world. To enter, they could only rely on the disciples to scout the way, kill countless souls, and collect them to create the strongest soul card. The passageway to the cultivation world opened for me. Jiang Li formed a seal and pressed it to the ground. Woo woo woo. Suddenly, the magic array shone brightly, and the entire office sank into the depths of the passage along with everyone else. This space was created by He-Wan, and it was also her own little world. The 3 layers of meditative forgetfulness, the state of forgetfulness, were mysterious and unfathomable. These people from the Jiang family never expected that Jiangli would have such a master by his side, so they could not escape the law today. Space flowed, twisting and turning. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at the cultivation world. The place they came out from was a teleportation formation, and it was an ancient ruin. There were no experts from the Royal Heaven sect gathered in the surroundings. After all, the primordial battlefield was too big, and it would not be easy for the Royal Heaven sect to build everything. This teleportation formation was covered by many crystalline cells and gradually sunk into the ground, so no one could discover it. Jiang Li's clone was bitterly cultivating. He killed many creatures, refined origin energy, and absorbed origin energy. His cultivation was growing rapidly, and his HP was now above 30. Moreover, he had also found a few immortal stones and thoroughly researched this ancient teleportation formation. No, this is the cultivation world, don't. After coming to the cultivation world, Marshal Goliath and Jiang Haichao suddenly woke up. They had to wake up because Heavens was already watching them. High up in the sky of the cultivation world, the eternal sun was the will of the heavens. At this moment, a 7-color ray of light suddenly appeared and bombarded Goliath and Jiang Haichao. Instantly, both of their bodies began to burn. Jiang Li didn't even look at him. He suddenly made a move and slapped Marshal Goliath's head. Bang! His palm was the Great Emperor Heavenly Seal. It controlled Heaven's will, activated the Heavenly Tao, and stimulated the gods. With a sure kill technique, it destroyed all of Goliath's soul and will. Jiang Li, how dare you kill me? You have committed an unforgivable sin. Marshal Goliath's head exploded, and he let out a mournful roar, but it was of no use. If he was on Earth, his will could escape, and he would not die. He even had a clone of himself in his technological laboratory. Even if he lost his body, as long as his soul escaped, he could still recover. But in the cultivation world, with Heaven's will suppressing him, he basically had no chance at all. Die, Goliath! Back then, you used Saint Sisa to suppress me and wanted to destroy my future. Do you know your mistakes now? But even if you admit your mistakes, you won't have the chance. You can do what the Heavens want, but you can't live with the evils you bring upon yourself. Sigh. Jiang Li sighed and grabbed. Bang! Goliath's soul exploded, and a large amount of mental energy was absorbed into Jiang Li's body. At the same time, Jiang Li heard another voice. Kill an expert among the demons from beyond the heavens, and you will be rewarded. This was the spirit of Heaven's will. Killing an expert in meditation would give a completely different reward. ZZT, 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 ZZT. The strong heavens will condensed into a circle above Jiang Li's head. This circle was actually black and white, and it was purely condensed from mental energy. Mental energy appeared in the material world. He was shocked. The heavens' will's descent is actually this kind of thing. This is yin and yang mental energy. The heavens will condenses its own mental energy to a high degree and appears in the material world. It assimilates with the material world and evolves into a supreme treasure like the mental energy stone. Mental energy was intangible and couldn't interfere with the material world. Only vision domain experts could directly make their mental energy appear in the material world. This kind of mental energy was highly condensed and extraordinary saint essence. This kind of thing was the foundation that saints relied on to survive, and saints couldn't give away this kind of thing. Now that the heavens will had actually rewarded this kind of thing, it could be seen how much importance it placed on the meditative domain demons from beyond the heavens. Rumble. This black and white, jade-like mental energy that appeared in the material world seeped into Jiang Li's body. Jiang Li's own mental energy immediately started to grow, and it even started to compress. In an instant, his psychic power had increased to 80 dimensions. Jiang Haichao, it's my turn to kill him. Hewen saw that Jiang Li still wanted to kill Jiang Haichao, so how could she let him go? She immediately attacked, and with a palm, the roar of a dragon and the roar of a tiger, Jiang Haichao's body exploded. The black and white mental energy didn't materialize above Hewen's head, but many purple streams of air descended. Why? Why is my reward for killing Jiang Haichao not as big as yours? It's just some immortal energy. Hewen was stunned and shouted that it was unfair. There might be some dragon aura on your body that hasn't been completely concealed, so the heavens will is a bit suspicious and gave you a smaller reward. This was Jiang Li's guess, but I'm different. The aura on my body is completely that of a native cultivator, and it's the purest bloodline, even the bloodline of the creator of the cultivation world. Of course, the reward is different. Damn. Hewen cursed. She had no other choice. Although she had a secret technique to conceal her aura and wouldn't be attacked by the heavens' will, she still had to be careful. This kind of reward couldn't compare to Jiang Li's at all. Don't kill Jiang Xinyue. She's already a cultivator, Jiang Li said. There's no reward for killing her. Then we'll have to deal with these three. Their cultivation levels are very high. They're at the second tier of meditative amnesia. They're the most powerful people in the Jiang clan, and they're the Grand Elders. Killing them would be a huge blow to our vitality. Hewen sighed. I can't believe it. Then we can only kill them and give me all the rewards. Jiang Li smiled evilly. His mental energy had increased greatly just now, which was equivalent to receiving the direct infusion of a saint. Some of the problems he had with storage had been solved. His mental energy had increased, and he needed to continuously comprehend and use his soul. But now that he had received the infusion of heaven's will, the effect was huge. Moreover, he had also absorbed Marshal Goliath's soul, flesh, and energy. Although his cells were at their limits and couldn't absorb it, he could give it to the bug race's mother nest. Marshal Goliath's huge energy poured into the depths of the mother nest. Instantly, the mother nest doubled in size, becoming the size of 2 football fields. At the same time, the number of worker bees increased again, from 35,000 to 50,000. However, the killer bugs didn't increase. He didn't need the killer bugs now. Increasing the number of worker bees would allow him to establish a stronghold in the cultivation world. The cultivation world was rich in resources, and the bug race could expand greatly. Hewen's mental energy kept suppressing the three: Jiang Wuxue, Jiang Wuhuan, and Jiang Wuyu. These 3 Jiang family elders could be said to be the 3 most senior experts in the Jiang family, who knew how many resources had been piled on them to nurture their current strength. Unfortunately, the 3 of them couldn't move now. Countless flames burned around them. That was the angry heaven's will. Who could escape from it? Jiang Li, how dare you? If the 3 of us die, do you know how the Jiang family will deal with you? The current situation is still within the Jiang family's bottom line. Jiang Wuxue struggled with all his might, but to no avail. Damn it! Who are you? You're not a human from Earth. You're an alien. Jiang Li, you actually colluded with an alien to deal with us. Are you even human? This is the cultivation world's passageway. We can enter the cultivation world directly from Earth. Heavens! Jiang Li, you little bastard, you actually have control over this passageway. Jiang Wuyu was the most clear-headed. He understood something. No wonder. No wonder you wanted to build such a skyscraper in Starlight City. It turns out that you have control over the passageway. I hate it. I actually fell for your trick. Jiang Nailin won't let you go. He'll kill you. Jiang Nailin is using all his strength to fight against the cultivation world will. Jiang Li laughed. He also wants to deal with the sage behind me. Why would he care about me? If he could split his attention, he would have come to kill me long ago. After I kill you, I'll definitely advance to the origin realm. I might even be able to advance to the meditative meditation realm. Kill them. Cut the crap. Attack with all your might. Although he wouldn't receive much of the reward, she definitely wouldn't give it all to Jiang Li. She attacked with all her might. Jiang Li trembled. He attacked Jiang Wuxue and Jiang Wuhuan with all his might. Bang, bang, bang. 3 loud explosions rang out. The 3 experts exploded, dying a violent death. The all-pervasive will of the heavens had disintegrated their will and souls. Following this, beautiful music resounded above Jiang Li's head. That music could be seen with the naked eye. It was a wondrous musical note that fell like flowers scattered by heavenly maidens, wrapping around his body. This was pure spiritual energy, a corporeal form of spiritual energy, the essence of saint. Purple immortal chi appeared above He Wen's head. The heavens didn't give her the best reward. This made Jiang Li's heart ache. Just now, He Wen had attacked very quickly. She had killed Jiang Wuhuan and Jiang Wuyu. Jiang Li had only killed Jiang Wuxue. If he had killed all 3 of them at the same time, what level would Jiang Li's cultivation have reached? What a pity, what a pity. He was secretly unhappy. However, the consciousness in his body surged again. Suddenly, it reached a critical point. The origin realm aura surged out. He began to break through to the origin realm. Chapter 392. The mixed primordial breath realm had reached another new level. This meant that a person's spirit and soul had begun to return to nature, and it was the beginning of returning to its original state. Since ancient times, there had been a question that countless philosophers had pondered. Where do I come from? The primordious breath was the solution to this eternal problem. Any powerhouse that perceived the primordious breath would know just how pure their true appearance was, how untainted by a speck of dust, how pure and untainted, how empty. The mixed primordial breath was the appearance of heaven and earth before it had evolved. It was also the real world. I have finally reached the mixed primordial breath realm. Jiang Li inhaled and exhaled. Suddenly, a huge amount of spiritual energy rolled over. The spiritual energy in the air transformed into a long rainbow. Thousands of long rainbows poured into him, and the cells in his body changed again. The increase in the realm brought about an increase in the volume of the cells in the body. They could store more energy and have more changes. The cells in Jiang Li's body kept wriggling. If one looked under a microscope at this time, one could see that the internal structure of his cells was changing, forming a perfect line. Inside the cell nucleus, Jiang Li's shadow became clearer. His soul could be seen moving in every cell. Every cell was a real self. If his cells were given to scientists to study now, any human scientist would break their heads trying to figure out how human cells could mutate to such a state. Jiang Li's spiritual energy was skyrocketing. It only stopped when it reached 100-dimensional units. Meanwhile, his vitality had increased to 150. This time, it was a huge leap. Many meditative realm experts were not as good as him. Only the strong practitioners of the 2nd or 3rd realm of the meditative realm could compare to him in vitality. Especially spiritual energy, 100-dimensional units. It was definitely the strength of the 3rd realm of the meditative realm. The unit of spiritual energy was much more important than vitality. Thinking about it, the strong practitioners of the embryonic breathing realm had a vitality of 20, but their spiritual energy was less than 1-dimensional unit. That wasn't all. The biggest change was in the mother nest within Jiang Li's body. The mother nest was now the size of 5 football fields, and there were 100,000 worker bees. That wasn't all. The crystal wall of the mother nest was densely packed with golden energy. It radiated light in all directions, and it looked like the most ancient amber. This energy was left behind after killing Jiang Wuhuan, Jiang Wuxue, and Jiang Wuyu. Jiang Li's body couldn't absorb it, so he absorbed it into the depths of the mother nest to store energy and develop worker bees. 100,000 worker bees required an enormous amount of energy every day, but with the amount of energy stored in the hive, it was enough to support them for several years. Of course, this was under the condition that the worker bees didn't spawn. Once more were spawned, the hive would be stretched thin. Hewen killed the 2 experts, but did not absorb their energy. She only wanted the reward from Heaven's will. However, her reward was too little, so she immediately felt that it was meaningless. When she saw that Jiang Li's cultivation had increased greatly, she immediately became vigilant. Jiang Li, now that your enemies have been wiped out, are you going to make a move on me? Hewen said with a smile that was not a smile. Don't worry, I'm a person who keeps his promises. We still have to rely on the Dragon Clan to resist the Jiang Clan. When I return to Earth and fight with Jiang Haiyang, I'll open the passage to Earth. How about that, and let more experts of the Dragon Clan descend? Jiang Li naturally wouldn't turn hostile now. He made a grabbing motion, and a suction force appeared. The unconscious Jiang Xinyue was grabbed by his hand, and he channeled some energy into her. She immediately moaned and woke up. She opened her eyes, and when she saw that she had fallen into Jiang Li's hands, she felt so ashamed that she wanted to die. However, she quickly suppressed it and calmed down. Jiang Li, good move. You actually joined forces with such an expert to kill all of the Jiang clan's trump cards to build your reputation. Next, kill me. Killing you is as easy as lifting a finger, Jiang Li said calmly. If I wanted to kill you, I would have done a long time ago. Why would I wait until now? However, I've killed so many people from the Jiang clan, and I've even killed Marshal Goliath. I definitely won't let you off. From now on, I'll keep you by my side and make you my female secretary. Dream on, Jiang Xinyue shouted angrily. I won't compromise. I know I'm no match for you now, but if you want me to compromise and be your woman, I won't be able to do it even if you kill me. Dream? I'm best at dreaming. I can dream for thousands of years. Who can tell if it's real or not? Jiang Li let out a long sigh. Your mind is under my control. I can let you maintain your independent consciousness, but you have to listen to my orders. You have to obey me whether you want to or not. Although I've advanced to the primordial chaos breath realm, I still need to polish this realm. I'm going to use your secret technique of longevity to complement each other and kill Jiang Haiyang in a month. Let's go back. Hewen could not be bothered with this matter. I've fallen for your trick this time. This is just a small reward. This has nothing to do with me. This is an issue with Heaven's will. You have to ask Heaven why it did this. Jiang Li pointed at the sun in the sky. You have also received a reward from Heaven's will. However, I still have to ask you, since your reward is so small, why didn't you kill me? Instead, you snatched my credit? If I had killed all 3 of them, how strong would I be now? You're too strong. I'm the one suffering. Hewen remained unmoved. She looked at the sun in the sky and shivered for no apparent reason. I don't want to stay in the cultivation world. The pressure from Heaven's will is too strong. It is constantly monitoring me. Returning to Earth is the right thing to do. When the experts of the Dragon Clan descend, it will be time to capture the Heaven's will of the cultivation world. Why are you in such a hurry to return? Jiang Li was not in a hurry. There's so much spiritual energy in the cultivation world. It is much richer than on Earth. We can cultivate here for a month before returning. Isn't that better than struggling on Earth? I really hate the Heaven's will here. Hewen was still unhappy. It's fine. I'll tell you how to create a soul card. Jiang Li wanted to deal with the Imperial Heaven sect and build a sect here to protect the teleportation formation. You just have to kill more experts in the cultivation world and create a soul card to hide the aura of your soul. Let me tell you, this is an ancient battlefield. Some experts want to build a sect here. Once they start a large-scale search, we won't be able to protect the tunnel and teleportation formation. Therefore, we have to build a stronghold here and protect the teleportation formation. At the same time, once we build a stronghold, we can even use this tunnel to send spiritual energy to Earth. We have to protect this tunnel. Otherwise, with my mystical abilities, I won't be able to cross the distant third universe and reach the cultivation world. Of course, Hewen knew the importance of controlling a tunnel. She looked around. This is indeed the ruins of an ancient battlefield. I can see how prosperous this place was in the distant past. How are you going to build a sect? How are you going to send people to guard this place? My teacher, Hong Heiyu, can guard this place. Zhongli thought about it. That's good too. I'll start setting up the formation and building a sect now. There are many buildings in this ancient battlefield, and it's easy to gather materials. I'll show you the insect race's method of building a sect. However, I'm not good at formations. You dragons are all geomancy masters who are good at stealing the secrets of heaven and earth. Can you give me some pointers and help me set up a formation? You've asked the right question. We dragons are indeed all geomancy masters. You humans on Earth with the Chinese bloodline make use of geomancy. Fushi's 8 trigrams were taught by us dragons. Fushi is a dragon. The 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors are all dragons. You guys are the descendants of dragons. Therefore, geomancy is also known as the study of dragon meridians. Any geomancy masters discussing it with us dragons is like children playing house. Ewan seemed excited. This ancient battlefield is a place with great geomancy. However, it's been badly damaged. Now you have to repair it and build a sect again. I'll give you some pointers to set up the strongest formation of the dragon race, the Eternal Moment Formation. However, this formation is broad and profound. Once it's activated, it really has the power to transform the ancient river into an instant. It can even circulate the laws of time within it. I don't have such miraculous power, so I can only set up the first layer of the formation. Zhongli was shocked in his heart. The eternal instant formation can turn the river of time into an instant. This is a formation that can turn everything into nothingness. Does the dragon race have such a great ability? I don't believe it. Why, you don't believe me? As if she could see Zhongli's doubt, Hewen sneered. Any formation's basic function is to gather spiritual energy. I'll set up the first stage of this formation and see how much spiritual energy it can gather. I'll wait and see. Zhongli opened up a path. Hewen clasped her hands together. The long incantation turned into energy and spread out. Instantly, the ground within dozens of miles started to shake. Deep underground, countless sand and soil started to gather. Then, they rushed out of the ground and turned into totem pillars. These totem pillars had many dragons carved on them. Some were big, some were small, and the pillars were thick and thin. They revolved, arranged, and combined according to a nonstop trajectory. Not long after, tens of thousands of pillars were laid out on the land with a radius of more than 10 kilometers, forming a stone forest. This stone forest competed with each other. The dragon totems attracted each other. Each pillar seemed to have many changes. Wong, the last pillar was erected. Instantly, Zhongli felt the spiritual energy in the world surge crazily. It gathered in the center and started to spread. It was spiritual energy formed by liquid spiritual energy. The spiritual energy density is 5,000 times. 10,000 times. Zhongli stood in the center of the formation. This was where the teleportation formation was. He could feel that after the spiritual energy turned into liquid, it actually showed signs of crystallizing. What did 10,000 times the spiritual energy mean? Zhongli's mental energy was now 100 dimensional units. If he absorbed it here in a day, the spiritual energy he absorbed would be 10,000 times 100. 1 million grams of spiritual stones. That was 500 kilograms of spiritual stones. Half a ton of spiritual stones a day. This was equivalent to the output of a huge spiritual stone mine. Just this alone made him rich enough to rival a country. Chapter 393. Zhongli's cells were full of energy and didn't need spiritual energy, but the brood mother did. How many worker bees could be born from such a large amount of spiritual energy? And to what extent could the broodmother evolve? This is the embryonic form of the formation. Actually, 10,000 times more spiritual energy isn't much. Given time, 100,000 times, or even 1,000,000 times more spiritual energy is just around the corner. You can even turn it into a spirit vein. And if you know how to refine swords, you can hang flying swords on these totem poles and absorb spiritual energy day and night, turning them into sword spirits that can fly around and kill. Since you're going to build this array formation, I will tell you the secrets of this array formation. You can take your time building it. This array formation is just the skeleton, and these totem pillars can be easily destroyed. I will tell you how to operate and design it. As she spoke, Huan began to transmit information telepathically. Jiangli pondered for a moment before understanding the profundities. Laughing heartily, he moved his body, and countless worker bees flew out to collect materials from the ground. They began to repair and reorganize. Countless crystals rose from the ground, and gorgeous palaces were built on these totem poles. Not only did the construction of these palaces not destroy the geomancy of the formation, it actually made the geomancy even more condensed. Just like that, a garden with a circumference of more than 10 square kilometers began to be built. It was similar to an imperial palace, but much more beautiful than the imperial palaces of ancient times. Moreover, these building materials were not wood, but a kind of crystal secreted by the worker bee insects. It was called insect crystal, a kind of biological building material. This material had many secrets. It was as hard as steel, difficult for flying swords to cut, and could absorb light and heat to store energy. In addition, it could absorb radiation damage and nourish the body. Living in it could not only prolong one's life, but also increase one's vitality. Of course, insect crystals were only at the initial stage. If the mother nest advanced a step further, the ability of these worker bees would also increase, and what they spat out would be heaven crystals. That was even more mysterious. It contained space energy and was a building material that everyone in the universe yearned for, even in their dreams. There were even some powerful cultivators who searched for the mother nest of the insect race in the depths of the universe, hoping to steal this kind of thing. The sky crystal was a step further, and that was the divinity crystal. It was the highest realm that the insectoid queen could reach, a realm that could contend against gods. The worker bees used divinity crystals to build their divine kingdoms. Right now, Jiangli was only at the initial stage of the mother nest. Using insect crystals to forge a palace and build a sect was incomparable to the real insect race. However, this insect crystal was also a rare building material in the cultivation world. It was even a refining material that many cultivators dreamed of. The entire palace was being built at a speed visible to the naked eye. These totem pillars were originally rocks, but they were condensed together by He-Wen's energy. They were very ordinary. Now, Jiangli was using the worker bee insects to infiltrate the insect crystals into the stone, causing it to transform. This way, the totem pole's power would be even greater. In just one day and one night, a huge palace with a radius of more than 10 kilometers had been built. There were totem poles on all four sides, and there were many patterns on the ground, all of which were divine dragons. From afar, it looked like billions of small dragons had formed a huge dragon that was breathing in and out. The combination of the dragon race's feng shui array and the insect race's technology was ingenious. They came from the same source. And in the depths of this huge sect, at the very center of the center was the transportation array. This sect is gradually being built, but the power of the array is weak. It can't fight against experts. It still needs to absorb spiritual chi over a long period of time to gradually make the divine dragons here have spirituality. He said, "Your insect race is really amazing. If this goes on, we can indeed build a strong sect. As long as there is spiritual chi, my insect race can grow stronger without any worries. We can give birth to more worker bees and upgrade the mother nest." Jiangli had been holding onto Jiang Xinyue, forcibly injecting true qi into her body and circulating it. for a day and a night. It was like dual cultivation. He was so comfortable that he almost moaned. Although it took a lot of energy to manage the insect race, under the effects of dual cultivation, not only did he not exhaust himself, but his cultivation had also improved. If this went on, he was absolutely confident that he could kill Jiang Haiyang in a month's time. He flew into the air and realized that the sect was shrouded in clouds. In the depths of the clouds, there were vaguely divine dragons. This array was filled with hidden killing intent. It had the mysterious ability to steal the creation of heaven and earth. It was almost like the work of the gods. However, this was only the prototype of a sect. To really build a huge sect and build a large array, it would take hundreds and thousands of years of continuous polishing and building all kinds of array formations. In the cultivation world, some sect arrays could even fight against sages. The cultivation world had a long history. In this world, sects had a history of hundreds of thousands of years. As long as it was a sect with more than 10,000 years of history, the array formations that they built were interconnected. They were powerful and invincible. Even if there were no sages in the sect, with the array formations, they could still prevent sages from invading. Jiang Li's array formation had only just been built, and it lacked a foundation. However, he had the insect race. A day of construction was equivalent to hundreds of years of construction for other sections. As time passed, it would not be difficult for him to catch up to those sects that had been around for 10,000 years. Moreover, with Jiang Li in charge of this array, its strength would increase by at least 30%. This array formation has been built without anything to rely on. Even the simplest changes of the Eternal Moment array are not limited to this. What you need now is to build an altar around the palace. The altar should be as tall as a mountain and be thousands of meters tall. On it, all kinds of runes should be carved to offer sacrifices to the myriad worlds. Of course, this can only be done by experts in the meditative realm. This way, once the altar is completed, the power of your sect will increase by another 30%. After that, it will gradually expand and its power will grow. I estimate that if you continue to build at this speed, in 10 years, you might be able to rely on the power of the sect to fight against sages. Yuan's tone was as if she had everything under control. Whoosh! At this moment, a figure darted out from the palace's passageway. It was Hong Heiyu. Jiang Li, I sensed a change in the spirit qi in Starlight City, so I immediately rushed over. What exactly happened? It's very simple. Just now, I killed Jiang Wuxue, Jiang Wuhuan, Jiang Wuyu, Goliath, and Jiang Haichao. I received Heaven's Will's reward and cultivated the mixed origin breath. My strength has increased greatly, and it will not be a problem for me to fight against Jiang Haiyang. In order to protect this teleportation formation, I used the insect race to build a sect here. Jiang Li explained. A soul card had already been placed on Hong Heiyu, allowing him to travel freely in the cultivation world. This way, I will really be at odds with the Jiang clan. Hong Heiyu was shocked. I'm afraid this matter will not end well. After killing so many people from the Jiang clan, I'm afraid Jiang Nailin will make a move. Jiang Nailin will make a move to kill me, but I can't split myself now. I have to seize every opportunity to increase my cultivation. Once I reach the meditative tranquility realm, I'll be able to completely communicate with the Grand Emperor's relic and help Little Emperor. At the same time, I will use the relic to fight against sages. Jiang Li calculated, then looked at Jiang Xinyue, who he had captured. Originally, I had no hope, but after capturing Jiang Xinyue, I can increase my cultivation quickly. In this 1 month, we will cultivate in this sect. Teacher and Hewan will be together to build a formation, and through the passageway, we will connect to Earth. We will also build the building in Starlight City on Earth as our sect. The two of us will communicate with each other, and if there are any problems, we will all migrate here. This is a good idea. Hong Heiyu felt relaxed. He breathed in the cultivation world's vital energy and played with Jiang Wushue's soul card. This is a good thing. In order to create this soul card, who knows how much effort the Jiang clan put in, but now it's mine. Then let's get started. Jiang Li pulled Jiang Xinyue and sat in the formation, breathing and gradually entering an ethereal state. At the same time, his mother nest insect race started to build the altar outside. Hong Heiyu carved the formation, and Hewen just pointed, too lazy to do anything. Another 10 days passed. Although Jiangli was not on Earth, he had control of the passageway, and his mental strength was getting stronger. His mental strength traveled back and forth in the passageway, and he could see every movement in the 36 cities on Earth. During these 10 days of cultivation, he had dual cultivated with Jiang Xinyue, and his cultivation had improved by leaps and bounds. Jiang Xinyue was completely controlled by him, unable to move, and could only be manipulated by him. Just like that, Jiang Li completely stole the Supreme Longevity Sutra that she had learned and began to merge this divine technique with the Great Emperor's seal. The dream word in his body became fainter and fainter, and his cultivation also became higher and higher. Not only had he completely consolidated the cultivation of mixed vitality breath, but he was also trying to break through to the meditative realm. However, he knew that the meditative realm was not so easy. It was at least 100 times more difficult than when he was trying to break through to the embryonic breathing realm. Unless he encountered another fortuitous encounter, he could forget about it. Meanwhile, Hong Heiyu had already built a 3,000-meter-tall sacrificial altar outside the sect. This was also a huge project on Earth, and it was equivalent to a huge mountain. However, if a 3,000-meter-tall mountain was nothing in the cultivation world, it was just a small mound of dirt. On the sacrificial altar, there were many runes that looked like dragons carved on it. Hong Heiyu followed Hewen's instructions and set up a stratagem. These stratagems could absorb the power of the alternate dimension and once again gather the vital energy for the sect. This sacrificial altar focuses on killing power, just like a bunker. After absorbing a huge amount of power, it will be condensed inside. Once it explodes, it will be like the interstellar cannon on Earth. After the sacrificial altar was built, Hewen looked at it. It was squarish, with a circle in the middle. She couldn't help but nod her head. The Zerg are indeed the masters of construction in the universe. All the materials are Zerg crystals. It can absorb, store, and transform energy by a level. There are runes of the Dragon Clan on it, and it can absorb energy. Every 10 days, it can fire a cannon that can seriously injure a meditative realm expert. If you, Hong Heiyu, sit on it and condense it day and night, it will be even more powerful. As expected, it is the work of the Dragon Clan, the ancestors of Feng Shui. Hong Heiyu exclaimed in admiration. Looks like I have to learn more about Feng Shui stratagems from you in the future. The Tao of Feng Shui is nothing more than a force field, a chi field gathering and dispersing unpredictably and borrowing the power of heaven and earth. He didn't bat an eyelid. Jiang Li's comprehension is very deep. He has started to combine his mind and the sect so quickly. As expected, below, Jiang Li seemed to have realized something. His mind power swept in all directions. His psychic power had faintly merged with the many moving insectoids. The entire sect stratagem came alive. Chapter 394. The 100,000 worker bees of the insect tribe were busy all day, absorbing spiritual energy and spitting out insect crystals, carrying out maintenance, construction, and expansion of the entire sect. Some worker bees even burrowed into the ground and spat out insect crystals to make the foundation more stable. There were also many formations carved underground that continuously absorbed earth chi. They were rooted deep in the ground and could not be shaken. On the surface, the sect was only slightly more than 10 square kilometers. However, the number of formations underground was far more than that. Gradually, after more than 10 days of construction, the atmosphere of the entire sect was revealed. Killing intent was hidden, and Jiang Li's mental power covered every corner of the formation. Apart from that, the worker bees were also searching for treasures and spirit stone veins underground. They had gained quite a bit. This was the ancient battlefield where the sect was located. The worker bee was a master builder, a master explorer, and a master treasure hunter. As long as there were any treasures, they would be able to find them immediately. 100,000 worker bees were spread out to search for treasures hidden beneath the ancient battlefield. They actually found many useful things. For example, Dharma treasure fragments, flying sword fragments, cauldron fragments, some broken spirit stones, and even immortal stones. Those treasures were buried deep underground and were hard to find. However, the worker bee directly found it and began to forge it, condensing it into the technology of the insect race. All of a sudden, the sex formation was filled with killing intent. There was also a maze in the middle that spread outwards. Jiangli, good move, Jiang Xinyue said hatefully. She couldn't resist at all for the past 10 days and could only let Jiangli do whatever he wanted. Thankfully, her strength had increased by quite a bit after dual cultivating with Jiangli. It was just that she wasn't as fast as Jiangli. It's nothing much. I'm just building a sect in the cultivation world. As Jiangli absorbed the longevity-type true qi in her body, he tried to cultivate the 9 essence spirits in his body. He had already fully understood the cultivation method of the Supreme Longevity Sutra and was starting to cultivate it. Once he succeeded, he wouldn't need Jiang Xinyue anymore. He could have a hermaphrodite body and cultivate the longevity-type true qi together with the Great Emperor's seal. Breathing in and out would give him an invincible might. Of course, he still needed Jiang Xinyue for his cultivation in the next few years. You also stole my longevity, supreme scripture. How sinister. It seems like the day you master it, you won't need me anymore. That will be the day I die. Jiang Xinyue was very calm. She wanted to die quickly. As long as you cooperate with me, you won't die. If you insist on doing things your own way, there's nothing I can do. The Jiang family is determined to kill me. If I'm not ruthless, I've died many times already. Jiangli seemed to be happy and sad at the same time. Maybe one day, when I advance to the meditative state and have the ability to fight against a saint, I will let you go, but not now. Don't pretend. Jiang Xinyue suddenly clenched her teeth and said, I want to die now. If you kill me, I will be grateful to you. Now, I can't even beg for death. Why can't you be kind? It's a pity to die after cultivating to this level. What's this little humiliation? Jiang Li said disdainfully. Compared to living, dignity is not worth mentioning. Only the weak would want to die. After going through so many difficulties to obtain a mystical ability, death is the end of it. This is cowardice. If it's me, I will live no matter how much humiliation I have to endure. You won't live for long. The moment you kill Jiang Haiyang, it's time for Jiang Nailin to make his move. Jiang Xinyue said coldly. Actually, you forced yourself into a corner, thinking that you can ruin the Jiang family's presidential election. You're seeking your own death. The Jiang family will win the presidential election. This is the big picture. Saint Nailin's plan to become a god is to subdue heaven's will. He has to get the chief god's optical computer. You ruin this plan. Saint Nailin will kill you even if he has to go against human rules. It's not the first time he wants to kill me. Jiang Li was unmoved. What's there to be afraid of? Moreover, he might not be able to get rid of the saint behind me. Actually, all the human saints know that he is ambitious. He wants to become a god and rule over all of humanity. Therefore, the human saints will not let him go. They want to kill him. Don't talk so much. We'll know in half a month. Jiang Xinyue stopped talking. Jiang Li gathered his breath. He could vaguely hear the roars of 10,000 dragons, the roars of the ocean, the boiling of the sun and moon, and the movement of the planets. His cultivation was getting stronger and stronger. Just as his sect was expanding and his cultivation was getting stronger, something strange happened at the edge of the ancient battlefield. At the edge of the ancient battlefield, there were many mountains. Some of these mountains were tens of thousands of miles tall. Some were even taller, almost touching the sky. At a glance, it was pitch black. It was as if a god was standing there. Just the aura alone could scare people to death. It was impossible for humans on Earth to see such tall mountains. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Groups of cultivators came from the other side of the mountain and landed on the ground of the ancient battlefield. There were hundreds of them, and their leader was a young man in a water cloud robe. He held a folding fan in his hand and was fiddling with a jade pendant. He looked at the ancient battlefield with a nostalgic look on his face. Everyone look, this is the ancient battlefield. Back then, the Great Emperor's sect was one of the top sects in our cultivation world. They had supreme treasures, the Great Emperor's relics, and built a huge sect. Unfortunately, it was invaded by demons from beyond the heavens and was immediately destroyed, creating this wasteland. It's not a good thing to have too much aura. It's easy to meet with a calamity. The young man was elegant and pointed out the mountains. Eldest senior brother, the Great Emperor's sect fought endlessly with our Imperial Heaven sect and always oppressed us. Now, they have been destroyed and completely eradicated. It's really satisfying. However, this place is a treasured land. It would be a pity if we don't occupy it. Look at the surrounding mountains like a natural barrier. The mountains suppress the earth veins below and absorb the will of the heavens above. They surround this huge plain. It's the gathering of dragons and tigers. Another young cultivator stood out. Indeed, eldest senior brother smiled coldly. The Great Emperor's sect deserves it. However, it's a huge mistake that we didn't get the Great Emperor's relic. If we got it, our Imperial Heaven sect might become the #1 sect. I heard that the Dream sect is getting restless and has sent many spies to the world of the demons from beyond the heavens to obtain their evil techniques. They are extremely powerful and pose a threat to our Imperial Heaven sect. The Dream sect does have many schemes, but learning the techniques of the demons from beyond the heavens is still evil. They can't win against the righteous, the young man said in disdain. Eldest senior brother, is the old ancestors' plan correct? The Great Emperor's relic has returned? It's still in the ancient battlefield? Could it be that there are still survivors from the Great Emperor's sect? The Great Emperor's sect is a sect that dominates the world. As the saying goes, a centipede dies but doesn't fall down. There will definitely be bloodlines left behind. Eldest senior brother waved his fan lightly and said in a flirtatious manner, "However, we have to get rid of this bloodline. Otherwise, it will be a disaster in the future." Eldest senior brother, things aren't that serious, right? Another young man walked over. The Great Emperor's sect was indeed powerful back then. Now it's gone and we can't even see 2 or 3 of them left. Even if there are bloodlines left behind, what can they do? You can't say that. Eldest senior brother said sternly, "We are in a critical period now. The attacks of the demons from beyond the heavens are getting stronger and stronger, and they have even harmed the will of the heavens. Back then, the Great Emperor's sect fought against the demons from beyond the heavens, and the entire sect was wiped out. Even the saints died. The will of the heavens remembers the contributions of the Great Emperor's sect. Now that the remnants have appeared, if they are blessed by the will of the heavens, they can suddenly erupt and make a comeback. They might even be stronger than before. Think about it. If the entire world wants to protect them, wouldn't they instantly become great? A few days ago, I received news that a few of our Imperial Heaven sect's juniors disappeared while exploring the ancient battlefield. They might have been killed. We have to investigate this matter clearly and see who dares to attack us. It's either the remnants of the Great Emperor's sect or the demons from beyond the heavens." The few young men started discussing. That's right. When we investigate the ancient battlefield, the first thing we have to do is to guard against the demons from beyond the heavens. This is the ruins left behind by the Great Emperor's sect. It's a treasured land. Why don't many sects come here to build their sects? It's because they're afraid that the baleful aura won't dissipate. Also, we suspect that there's a teleportation formation left behind by the demons from beyond the heavens that can connect to the world of demons. Eldest senior brother looked around. There's no need to chat anymore. Let's split up and search the ancient battlefield. Yes. Instantly, the group of hundreds of cultivators split up and flew away in groups of 3 to 5. Let's go. We'll head to the center of the Great Emperor's sect. The ruins of the sacrificial altar are the place where the relics of the Great Emperor are enshrined. Let's see if there are any changes. If the remnants of the Great Emperor's sect come, they'll definitely make a move. Eldest senior brother brought a few young experts and flew over the ancient battlefield. His speed was very slow. It looked like he was taking a stroll in the park, but with just a slight step, he was already 100 miles away. This was simply a method to control space. Teleportation, using the impossible as the law, using the infinite as the limit. This was the realm of the 3 levels of meditation. In fact, the way he operated space surpassed most experts of the 3 levels of meditation. The 3 levels of meditation were called forgetfulness. It meant to forget the restraints of the world and travel in space with one's body. Every world was a space. Within this space, one could ignore the laws and travel freely. This was forgetfulness. In theory, this realm could allow one to cross dimensions, but in reality, it was impossible. This was because the consumption of energy to cross dimensions was too great. Even saints couldn't accept it. It was like a scientist on Earth saying, "If you give me a fulcrum, I can move the Earth." This was correct in theory, but in reality, it was impossible. Therefore, this was the realm of forgetfulness. It could only allow one to cross short distances. In an instant, it was possible to cross hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of miles. However, it was a dream to cross light years and galaxies. Crossing dimensions was even more impossible. One day later, the eldest senior brother arrived at the center of the ancient battlefield. The young man beside him suddenly screamed, "Eldest senior brother, what's that?" Clouds and mist are lingering. Such strong spiritual energy is condensing in the center. This spiritual energy is almost 10,000 times stronger. As expected, someone set up a formation here. The eldest senior brother's body trembled. His eyes shot out endless light, as if he had seen through everything about the formation. An expert. The one who set up this formation is an expert. There are crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Killing intent is hidden. Chapter 395. It's the remaining members of the Great Emperor's faction, a young man shouted. Destroy this formation and capture the person inside. Don't act rashly. The eldest senior brother stopped him. The method of setting up this formation isn't from the Great Emperor's faction. We've learned their formations before, so, don't you know? When did they have such a style? Also, look at the method of setting up this formation. The materials aren't from the Great Emperor's faction either. If it's the remaining members of the Great Emperor's faction, it's impossible for it to be completely new. That's true. I can't tell that it's from the Great Emperor's faction at all. If it's an expert from another sect, we might offend them if we act rashly, another young man added. I'll send a message first. The eldest senior brother suddenly let out a long roar and sent out a mental wave. Which expert is building a sect in the ancient battlefield and setting up a formation? I'm the eldest senior brother of the Imperial Heaven sect, Huang Jiuji. I hope I can meet an expert. Our Imperial Heaven sect is also preparing to build a sect in the ancient battlefield. I hope our 2 sects can negotiate with each other. How about that? As expected, the people from the Imperial Heaven sect are here. Jiangli cultivated in the formation and was constantly on guard. However, he wasn't afraid. With his current cultivation, no one below the Saint Plane could do anything to him. What should we do? Hong Heiyu was nervous. Are we going to start a war with the people from the Imperial Heaven sect? You're the one who killed them. It's fine. Although they came with ill intentions, I'm not afraid. Apart from the saints, I can kill them all. Jiangli had absolute confidence. Also, they announced their names first. This isn't hostility, but the etiquette of the cultivation world. According to this rule, I should meet them too. The Imperial Heaven sect is an obstacle, but I still have to appease them. We can't start a conflict right away. Of course, if they want to kill me, then I won't hold back. As he spoke, he let out a long roar. Long Shuihua of the Crimson Dragon sect has built a sect here. I've long heard of the Imperial Heaven sect's great name. It's my honor to have all of you come to visit. I'll open the middle gate now. Rumble. The clouds trembled and instantly retracted into the ground, revealing the tens of thousands of palaces. Jiangli appeared on the plaza and forcefully welcomed the descending eldest senior brother and the other youths. Scarlet Dragon Gate? What sect was this? Never heard of it? A youth didn't go down, fearing an ambush. I've heard of this sect. It seems to be an ancient sect that has long disappeared in the long river of history. How did it appear again? The eldest senior brother frowned slightly. Zhongli said that he was a member of the Scarlet Dragon Gate. He had borrowed the name of a sect that had long been extinct in the cultivation world. He himself had obtained the memories of the sewer mummy, so he knew some of the secrets of the cultivation world like the back of his hand. The history that he spoke of was believable. He had obtained the help of the He-When dragon race. There are traces of the dragon race everywhere in the Great Formation here, so he changed his surname to Long, and his name was Zhongli. They called themselves dragons, water and fire, complementing each other. Should we go down? Go down. Eldest senior brother waved his folding fan. We're disciples of the Imperial Heaven sect. We'll have to venture into even the lion's den, let alone a small sect that was established at the last minute. He had already descended and was face to face with Zhongli. When he landed on the ground, he realized that the ground was a kind of hard yet soft crystal. He felt like he was sinking into it when he stepped on it. The crystal underground was spotless, but it gave off a feeling that the ground was alive and could swallow him at any moment. What a powerful refining technique. Eldest senior brother was wary and smiled. Brother, you're an expert from the ancient sect Scarlet Dragon Gate. You appeared out of nowhere and established a sect. This formation technique can overturn the universe. It's really ingenious. He stared at Zhongli, his eyes shining as if he wanted to see through his cultivation. However, the current Zhongli had a high cultivation. In addition to the fact that he was in the formation, his strength was boosted. Over the past few days, he had merged the Supreme Longevity Scripture and the Great Emperor's Seal. The main principle's dream imprint was even more marvelous. When it was used to conceal his aura, no one would be able to see through his true cultivation. Eldest senior brother couldn't see through Zhongli's cultivation, but Zhongli could. This person was also an expert on the level of Sidawudi. He was very strong and extremely tyrannical. It was no wonder that he could be the eldest senior brother of the Imperial Heaven sect. This formation technique is nothing much. It's just a small technique taught to me by the sect's doyen. My sect's doyen traveled to other dimensions and obtained the dragon race's secret technique by chance. He comprehended the changes in the heavenly secrets and evolved it into this small formation. Now that the Great Emperor's sect is running amok and a calamity has appeared, my sect received the guidance of the heavenly will to come out and subdue the demons. This is the place where the Great Emperor's sect was destroyed. The demonic aura hasn't dissipated yet, so I established a sect here to cleanse the demonic aura. Then, when the demons from beyond the heavens descend, we'll separate and fight to protect our home. Zhongli spoke openly and secretly pointed out that he had a powerful force behind him. Sure enough, eldest senior apprentice brother didn't dare to act blindly without thinking, because Zhongli had just said that the Grand Elder behind him had traveled through many dimensions and obtained the Dragon Clan's secret techniques. This meant that the Grand Elder was a saint. Why was the Imperial Heaven sect so powerful? It was because they had a saint. Moreover, the other party also had a saint behind him, so they couldn't be underestimated. Eldest senior brother had also suspected whether Zhongli was deliberately trying to scare them. However, even after continuous observation with his spiritual power, he still couldn't see through Zhongli's cultivation. This made him very fearful. If he didn't have the help of a powerful force behind him, he definitely wouldn't have such methods. This is the ancient battlefield, the place where the Great Emperor's sect fell back then. The feng shui here is extremely good. Our Imperial Heaven sect also wants to establish a sect here, but I didn't expect the Crimson Dragon sect to be one step ahead of us. Eldest senior brother waved his folding fan and smiled. It looks like our two sects will have to negotiate with each other. The ancient battlefield is extremely big. We'll each establish our own sects and don't want to work together. Zhongli laughed coldly. Moreover, if the evil demons come, it'll definitely be difficult for the Imperial Heaven sect to defend against them alone. Why don't our two sects work together? This also has the meaning of working together. Otherwise, it'll be hard for us to do it alone. For example, the Great Emperor's sect was once famous, but they were suddenly attacked by the evil demons. Now, they're in a mess. This is the result of not working together. This ancient battlefield is big, but the place that brother has occupied is very important. Other people might not know this place, but I do. It's the place where the great emperor's sect used to offer sacrifices to their sect's sacred object, the great emperor's relics, sacrificial altar. This place has spirituality. Perhaps after occupying it, the people from the great emperor's sect will return with the great emperor's relic in the near future. Eldest senior brother waved his fan again. It looks like the Crimson Dragon sect wants to take the relic for themselves? There's such a thing. Zhongli pretended to be surprised. I really don't know about the great emperor's relic. I just think that this place has better feng shui in this ancient battlefield. So I'll build a sect and gather spiritual energy. Our Crimson Dragon sect has the 10,000 Dragon War banner, which is the treasure of the dragon god. It's condensed by an expert surpassing the saint level. We don't need trash like the great emperor's relic at all. He bragged, not afraid that the wind would scatter his tongue. However, eldest senior brother was still stunned by her words. He was actually stunned and couldn't speak. Zhongli continued, "What great emperor's relic? When it appears, you guys can take it as you please. We don't need it. I can spread the word here that I won't peep at this treasure. Think about it. Would a sect with a mountain of gold covet other people's copper coins? You're quite bold." Eldest senior brother's expression was uncertain. He was doubtful. But the feng shui of this array is too good. If the Crimson Dragon sect wants to forcefully occupy it, many sects will come to snatch it. It won't be good if it causes trouble for the Crimson Dragon sect. Hee, Zhongli said arrogantly. Let's see who dares to come. Whoever dares to challenge the dignity of the Crimson Dragon sect will be killed. I'm not someone to be trifled with. His murderous aura was boiling. A wave of mental energy turned into a cold wave and surged in all directions. Everyone could feel his mental energy surging. This person is also an expert of the meditative amnesia realm. He's one step away from becoming a saint. He's even stronger than me. Eldest senior brother saw the truth. How can there be such a strong expert? In the entire cultivation world, I'm probably the strongest among the meditative amnesia realm. I'm outstanding. I'm a saint candidate. He's stronger than me? Could it be the legendary pseudo-saint realm? Immediately, he panicked and cupped his hands. The Crimson Dragon sect is indeed powerful. A person like you is an outstanding talent in the cultivation world. It's only a matter of time before you become a saint. I'll go back and report this. There will be news soon. I hope the leaders of the two sects can gather. No problem. Zhongli didn't care at all. It seems like the Imperial Heaven sect is also interested in this feng shui treasure land. This is just a small matter. We don't want to cause discord between the two sects and let the otherworldly demons take advantage of us. I'll report this to the higher-ups of the sect. If that's the case, I'll take my leave. Eldest senior brother flew up and left with the other junior brothers and youths. Once eldest senior brother left, he walked out. It was really dangerous just now. If my mental energy wasn't connected to you and I didn't disguise you as a meditative amnesia realm expert, we might have been exposed. Eldest senior brother would definitely have destroyed everything. It was another fierce battle. Thank you very much. Zhongli returned to the teleportation formation and sat down cross-legged. I'm not afraid of him. If I were to fight, I'm confident that I can kill him alone. He's strong, but he's not stronger than me. I'm afraid of the saint behind him. We can't give up on this sect, because this is the teleportation formation. Below it is the passage to Earth. If the saint discovers it, he can definitely open this passage. This is a double-edged sword. We should focus on Earth. We shouldn't waste too much time here. Hong Hei thought about it and felt that it was really difficult. Why don't we build another sect somewhere else and transfer all the people who can be transferred to the cultivation world? If necessary, we can give up and create a passage. Earth is in troubled times now. We can't place all our bets on it. It's actually very simple. He didn't care at all. Open the passage to Earth and let the experts of our dragon clan descend. Was the Imperial Heaven sect. Zhongli, let me tell you this. You've promised me that you'll open the passage to Earth. If you go back on your word, forget about the Imperial Heaven sect and the Jiang clan. I'll be the first to not let you off. Don't worry, I'll accomplish this. However, regardless of whether it's the Imperial Heaven Sect or the Dragon Clan's passage, they're not the main thing. The main thing is to fight the final battle with Jiang Haiyang. Zhongli looked at the sky. However, I'm just afraid that it'll be troublesome if the people from the Imperial Heaven Sect come looking for us before the final battle. Chapter 396. This is a huge problem for you. Today, the Imperial Heaven Sect has come looking for you. This means that your peaceful days are over. Ewan snickered. At this time, even the gods can't save you. Only I can. How? Jiang Li's eyes flickered. Open the tunnel. I will pray for the Almighty of the Dragon Clan to radiate its power. Then, we will use our divine ability to connect the tunnel in the Imperial City with the tunnel in Star Brilliant City. This way, the Almighty of the Dragon Clan can display the might of the Saint at any time and descend into the cultivation world. Hewan was still thinking of using Jiangli. I'm afraid that's not appropriate. When the Saint enters the cultivation world, the heavenly will probably show itself. When that time comes, we will attract even greater enemies. Jiangli knew that Hewan still wanted to open the tunnel. That's easy. The Saint of the Dragon Clan naturally has a way to steal the heavenly will. You still don't know, but the Dragon Clan is good at attacking one dimension after another. The heavenly will of those dimensions is even stronger. If we can deceive them, then what about a small half-dimension in the cultivation world? Hewan rolled her eyes. Don't you think I'm getting more and more compatible with the environment of the cultivation world? I didn't kill anyone, nor did I refine their souls into soul cards. What trick do you think? The Dragon Clan does have this divine ability. A thought suddenly rose in Jiang Li's mind. To tell you the truth, Hewan, it's not that I don't trust you. I just don't trust the old antiques behind the Dragon Clan. How about this? Let's make a deal. As long as the Almighty of the Dragon Clan can help me advance to the Saint level, I will cooperate with the Dragon Clan with all my might. How about that? Become a saint? Hewan giggled, her slender jade-like finger pointing at Jiang Li's forehead. Are you dreaming? If it was so easy to advance to the saint level, there would be so many of them in the world. There are so many experts among you humans, but how many can advance? Furthermore, you are already so powerful at the embryonic breathing realm. Advancing to the saint level is 10,000 times more difficult than ordinary people. It can be said that once you advance to the saint level, even the saint-level geniuses of the Dragon Clan can't compare to you. With your current realm, even the meditative memory is very terrifying. Even if the Dragon Dimensions Heavenly will personally imbue you, it will still be impossible for you to advance to the saint level. Impossible for a saint? Zhongli thought about it and agreed. If he could cultivate to the saint realm in one step, then the saint realm would not be a realm that countless people had dreamed of since ancient times. Then I'll settle for the next best thing. Raise me to the meditative realm, then I'll be fine. Otherwise, with my current realm, I won't be able to contend against the saint. When the Almighty of your Dragon Clan comes out, what will I do? If it swallowed me, who would I complain to? I'm playing with fire with my life. I can't afford to be careless. You want to advance to meditative meditation? That's possible. Hewan heaved a sigh of relief. I can go back and report it now. Our dragon race can still handle this little bit of difficulty. At most, our dragon race will give you the sacred dragon pearl and use the divine ability of the heavenly Tao to transfer it to break through the mandate of heaven and change the destiny. We will help you build your foundation and forcefully increase your cultivation. Then it's fine. That's the deal. Zhongli said, besides, if I don't improve my level, I won't be able to open the channel. Although Earth's will is mine, I can't activate it yet. It's a deal then. Hewan leaped into the channel and disappeared. She had gone to Earth. This woman is not a good person. Be careful. Working with her is equivalent to asking a tiger for its skin. Anyway, your strength has increased greatly. Why don't you kill her? Hong Heiyu sent a telepathic message. This woman is extremely powerful. It won't be easy to kill her. Zhongli was very afraid. Moreover, she's still useful now. Who knows? We might need the forces behind her to deal with Jiang Nailin and let them die together with Jiang Nailin. but she herself is a dangerous person. Now that she knows so many of your secrets, I'm afraid she'll cause a lot of trouble." Hong Heiyu was still worried. "That's true," Zhongli said. "I'll stay here and cultivate. I'll wait for the final battle. I don't want to think too much now. Maybe I'll be able to comprehend more things in a battle of life and death with Jiang Haiyang. I'll cultivate too. After coming to the cultivation world, I've learned a lot. If I study it carefully, I might be able to improve my meditative state by 1 level and reach the 2nd level." Hong Heiyu's cultivation had recently improved by leaps and bounds. Zhongli grabbed Jiang Xinyue's body. Although she was very unwilling, Jiang Xinyue had no choice but to dual cultivate with him. Back then, Zhongli had pursued Jiang Xinyue for the sake of dual cultivation. But now, he had forcefully suppressed her and achieved his goal of dual cultivation. He had even stolen the supreme scripture of longevity and combined the 2 supreme arts with his supreme might. With a flip of his hand, he could summon clouds and rain with another. The 2 great scriptures merged in his body. The structure of his cells changed again. As he breathed, the spiritual qi turned into more cells. Go, doppelganger. After cultivating for another 8 or 9 days, Jiang Li suddenly moved. A large number of cells flew out from his body. "All of you, go and build a base somewhere else. Find a good place and build a base." The crystal cells formed small people that fled. There were thousands of them. They were like insects that scattered in all directions. They were all Jiang Li's doppelganger. He was preparing a path of retreat for himself. Even if he died, he could rely on these people to be reborn. Of course, this wasn't omnipotent. There were some experts who would restrict you, and then set up an altar displaying unmatched soul summoning techniques. All of the souls would be summoned, and then they would be killed, completely wiped out. As expected, Jiang Xinyue saw his actions and couldn't help but laugh. "Jiang Li, are you planning a path of retreat?" "Unfortunately, it's useless. Saint Nalen is an expert in soul searching. As long as he captures a bit of your soul, he can set up an altar to search the world. Even if you hide in other dimensions, he can track you. Even a saint was killed by him. Can you escape? Your method of escape is nothing compared to a saint. All right, I know you want to hurt my confidence, but let me tell you, my will is as strong as steel. You, on the other hand." Jiang Li suddenly smiled mischievously. "Do you really think I can't do anything to you? I've already disregarded life and death. I'm not even afraid of death. What can you do to me?" Jiang Xinyue really didn't care. "I can let you give me a son." Jiang Li smiled. "What do you think?" "What?" When Jiang Xinyue heard this, her hair stood on end. Her voice actually became sharp. "What did you say? What are you talking about?" "With my methods, I can inject my life essence into your body and combine it with your life essence to give birth to life. That's not a problem." Jiang Li's tone was very calm. "Jiang Li, how dare you? If you dare to do that, I won't let you off." Jiang Xinyue wanted to escape, but she couldn't move. "What will happen if you sleep and wake up 10 months later?" Jiang Li continued to threaten her. "Jiang Li, you're so vicious." Jiang Xinyue gritted her teeth. "Look at how scared you are." Jiang Li played it down even more. "Forget it. I won't scare you anymore. Anyway, you're in my hands now. When I kill Jiang Haiyang and fight against Jiang Nalen, I think you'll change your way of thinking. You'll never be a match for Saint Nalen." Jiang Xinyue cursed. "Don't look at how complacent you are now. Compared to Saint Nalen, you're an ant. He's a divine dragon. You're in a different world. An ant can also become a divine dragon." Jiang Li didn't comment. He once again channeled his energy into Jiang Xinyue's body and started to circulate it. A few days later, the Imperial Heaven sect still didn't come. The battle with Jiang Haiyang couldn't be delayed anymore. Jiang Li couldn't care so much. He told Hong Heiyu to return to Earth. He used the Dream Heart Sutra on Jiang Xinyue and put her into a deep sleep to prevent her from causing trouble again. Jiang Li kept the bug race mother nest into his body. Now that everything was ready, Jiang Li tried to sense the Grand Emperor's relic again. He found that Little the Arch was silent. However, the Grand Emperor's relic seemed to have a faint connection with him. Jiang Li was relieved. If Little the Arch died, the Emperor's relic would fly over and pass through countless dimensions to return to his side. The Emperor's relic was a true godhead. It had the ability to pass through dimensions. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to pass through the sewers from the cultivation world. If he had the Emperor's relic, killing Jiang Haiyang would be a piece of cake. Now, there was a fierce battle. The entire human race would be watching this battle through the live broadcast. It was a huge event. Back when Jiang Li announced his challenge to Jiang Haiyang, countless reporters gathered there. As the battle got closer, there were more and more reporters. Although the battle wasn't on Earth, but on the main god planet, Jiang Li lived on Earth. Everyone wanted to interview him. However, none of them could see Jiang Li. However, on the day before the battle, Jiang Li appeared. Instantly, there was a commotion in the 36 watching. Countless reporters came to interview him. However, Jiang Li didn't accept any interviews. Instead, he jumped to the main god planet, which was the elite zone of humans. The main god planet was a very special planet. It could be moved at will, and it had a very close connection with every planet that humans lived on. As long as there was any disturbance on any planet, the main god planet would immediately fly to that planet to suppress the unrest. Recently, there had been problems on Earth. The main god planet had already flown into the solar system. Jiang Li's jump was very fast. Soon, he arrived on the main god planet. A few people from the Huaxia Corporation welcomed him. Walunga was among them. A few people from the Wang family also came. The leader wasn't Wang Mierong, but another meditative plane expert called Wang Chunxiu. This person was a member of the elite zone. He was famous and unfathomable. He was the current leader of the Wang family. Even he had come personally. It was clear how much importance he placed on Jiang Li. As soon as they met, Wang Chunxiu laughed heartily. As expected, heroes emerged from the youth. Jiang Li, you're only 22 years old, yet you're already so brave. Do you have confidence in this battle? As long as Jiang Nailin doesn't attack, I can kill Jiang Haiyang, Jiang Li said bluntly. Don't worry, everyone will be watching. All the media will be broadcasting it live. Also, it's on the main god planet. Saint can't come. Wang Chunxiu patted Jiang Li's shoulder. If Jiang Nailin interferes, the Jiang family will never be able to raise their heads in human society again. I don't believe that he would dare to do such a thing. Also, it's not like the Wang family doesn't have any backup plans. It's best if you don't get involved. It'll be beneficial for Wang Mierong's presidential campaign. Jiang Li said, I don't want outsiders to think that I used the Wang family's power to defeat Jiang Haiyang. Chapter 397. That's a good idea. The head of the Wang family, Wang Chunxiu, strolled casually. The Wang family indeed can't interfere too much. I came to meet you in secret. Countless reporters will come later, so I can't be here. But I came today to ask you something. What is it? Jiang Li asked. Goliath, Jiang Xinyue, Jiang Haichao, Jiang Wuxue, Jiang Wuhan, and Jiang Wuyu went to ambush you, then suddenly disappeared for a month. Everyone in the Jiang family is restless. They don't know what happened. They've been searching all over the world, but they haven't found any traces. Are you behind this? Wang Chunxiu wanted to ask about this. This was indeed a big deal. Every time the human race lost an amnesic expert, it was like a country ceding territory. It would cause a huge commotion. Now that they had lost 6 of them, it was an unbearable pain. These 6 people came to ambush me? Jiang Li frowned. How come I didn't know about it? Their cultivation bases are absolutely earth-shattering. If the 6 of them combine their psychic powers, wouldn't I be hypnotized? I can do whatever I want. He had killed 5 experts and received the reward of heaven's will, which had allowed him to ascend to origin level. His strength had increased greatly, and he had the power to devour heaven and earth. However, he couldn't tell anyone about this. Even if Wang Chunxiu asked him, he had to hide it and pretend not to know. Otherwise, he would be the first to be punished by human law. As long as he wasn't a saint, he couldn't escape human law. In human history, there were precedents of amnesic experts being put on trial. Even presidents had been impeached and arrested and then put on trial. However, there had never been a trial for saints. If Jiangli revealed that he had killed 5 experts and imprisoned Jiang Xinyue, he would be put on trial immediately. There was no other way. Fortunately, there was no evidence. Even if the Jiang family suspected him, there was nothing they could do. First, he couldn't say that 6 people had secretly ambushed him. Once the matter was exposed, it could be considered self-defense. Moreover, the Jiang family couldn't apply for a court investigation. Therefore, as long as Jiangli kept his mouth shut, no one would be able to put him on trial. "Brother, you're really powerful." When Wang Chunqiu saw that Jiangli didn't reply, he didn't speak for a long time. Finally, he opened his mouth and patted him on the shoulder. "Our Wang clan has underestimated you. I hope you can win this battle. Also, in this battle, don't be too vicious. Killing Zhang Haiyang will make you look bad in front of the world. When it's possible to let people go, one should forgive them. That's the way to do things. Thank you for your guidance." Zhang Haiyang's feet landed on the ground of the sovereign planet. He discovered that the ground was made of a sort of sturdy jade. There was no dust, no dirt. It was a heavenly palace. This jade wasn't real jade either. It was a solidified form of energy. Actually, everyone in the world just wants to see me and Zhang Haiyang fight. When we truly fight to the death, the sovereign ships, AI, will appear to stop us. But the patriarch is right. Whoever loses in this battle will suffer a fate worse than death. It's better to just die here and be done with it. Sometimes, defeat meant death, and it was even worse than death. Zhang Haiyang was in this state now. He could only win, not lose. If he lost, he wouldn't be able to make a comeback. I wish you all the best. After you win, your popularity will reach the pinnacle in the eyes of the entire world. In 4 years, you will be able to run for president without any effort. Wang Chunqiu clasped his hands, then took his leave. His body flickered, and he vanished without a trace. "I don't have as many concerns as the Wang clan." Walunga chuckled. "Looks like you're far more powerful than me now. Why do you say that? I just hope you can become a saint soon. Please help me in the future." "Look, the tallest marshal of the army is here." "Where?" Jiangli looked over and saw a group of people walking over. The one in the lead had the highest cultivation and was wearing a military uniform. The metal on his shoulder was shining brightly, and he was incomparably tall. He was a mixed blood of Chinese and Western bloodlines. This person is strong. With a single glance, Jiangli could feel that this person was in a trance, almost like a ghost or god, not in the same space as him. In other words, no matter how he attacked, he couldn't hit his body because he seemed to be in a parallel space. This person wasn't a saint, but he wasn't meditative either. He was someone in between a saint and a meditative state. Fake saint. A name rose in Jiang Li's mind. This is the marshal of the highest military department. He's one level higher than a marshal. He used to be a president and held great power. Although he retired and didn't become a saint, his cultivation far surpasses the average meditative state. Walunga introduced him to Jiang Li as he walked over. Heroes come from the young. The Generalissimo led his men forward and shook hands with Jiang Li. "My name is Cha Longquan, and you are Jiang Li, right? Although you are the Generalissimo of our highest military department, this is the first time I've seen you. Now that I've seen you, you are indeed extraordinary. However, the grudge between you and the Jiang family is an internal matter of the human race. Right now, the human race is in troubled times, so the competition between you and Zhang Haiyang should stop." Of course, Jiang Li didn't refute this former president. Although he wasn't a president anymore and couldn't use the power of the Lord God's AI, he was still extremely powerful after training. Normal meditative states couldn't fight against him. This fake saint state could jump from one planet to another physically. For example, from Earth to the Moon, then to Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. They could travel through space for a short period of time. Now that Jiang Li was in the upper echelons of the human race, he already knew some secrets. On the main god planet, other than the AI of the main god, the core of the planet was the people who had once been presidents but had retired, but had not advanced to become sages. Humans had experienced more than 200 years. Every 4 years, there would be a presidential election. Some could be re-elected, while others could not. There were quite a lot of people. Other than one or two presidents who had become saints, the rest stayed on the Lord God's planet. Of course, there were also presidents who died or went to other planets to fight. There were about 20 presidents left now. These people formed a huge force called the Senate. These people were extremely powerful and powerful. Together, they could supervise the president's authority. On the Lord God's planet, the Supreme Council, the Senate, and the president's office supervised each other, forming a stable equilateral triangle. All right, enough nonsense. Don't accept the interview. I'll take you to the Martial God platform. Jiang Haiyang is already waiting there. The former president, Cha Long Quan, waved his hand. This time, it can only be called a martial arts competition. It will be broadcasted live to all humans. At the same time, it will let humans promote martial arts again. It will also let some people with evil intentions see the power of the high-level human leaders and suppress their ambitions. It was Jiang Li's first time coming to the Lord God's planet. He carefully felt the vast power of the planet, and he found that it was indeed unfathomable. Saints could not resist it. He breathed in and out casually. A large amount of spiritual energy mixed with the energy of the dimension rolled over and fused into his body. Jiang Li discovered that the vitality on the Lord God's planet was a special type of vitality forged from countless energies that had been refined. Anyone who breathed in it could live longer, become stronger, and gradually improve their genes. In particular, the spiritual energy on the Lord God's planet existed directly in the air. It was not in the second dimension where anyone could breathe in it freely. This meant that even people who had not entered the embryonic breathing realm could absorb spiritual energy for their own use when they came to the Lord God's planet. Jiang Li, this is your first time coming to the Lord God's planet, right? As they walked, Cha Long Quan introduced, the Lord God's planet is the spark of our human civilization. The vitality on it was refined by the optical computer. It collected useful energy from more than 300 dimensions and gathered together to form an atmosphere. This energy is called Heaven Qi. If a person lives on the Lord God's planet, even if they don't use the breathing technique, they can easily live to 300 years old by absorbing this energy day and night. It's really amazing. It seems that the average lifespan on the Lord God's planet is 180 years is a lie. Jiang Li smacked his lips. There's no other way. If they knew that the elite zone has so many benefits, wouldn't the entire human race be in chaos? In ancient times, there would be chaos if the rich and the poor were unequal. Now, the unequal lifespan would cause even more chaos. Cha Long Quan had no other way. We can go on like this. Jiang Li gritted his teeth. Sooner or later, this secret will be leaked. When that time comes, if there are people with ulterior motives on the various planets, I'm afraid it will cause quite a big impact. Let's talk about it after humans take over the cultivation world first. Moreover, the crisis on Earth this time might not be a bad thing. If humans know that there is pressure outside, they will be closely united. Cha Longquan's view was from the overall situation. As the saying goes, the more difficult it is, the more prosperous a country will be. Every time humans experience a major upheaval or a world war, their civilization will rise to a higher level. History has repeatedly proven this point. That's true. Jiang Li thought about it. We humans can't live in peace, but I still want everyone to live in peace. However, if life is too peaceful, we will lose our fighting spirit. But when there is chaos, countless people will die. This is really too contradictory. There's no other way. This is the opposition of yin and yang, one positive and one negative. Cha Long Quan said, it has been like this since ancient times. It's not just humans, but all the civilizations in the universe are the same. Is that the martial God platform up ahead? As they walked, a huge platform suddenly rose from the ground in front of them. It was majestic, and a huge energy shield covered the platform. The area of the platform was about 100 square kilometers, equivalent to a city. This was also the place where many meditative realm experts competed. But now, it had become the battlefield between Jiang Li and Jiang Haiyang. Suddenly, Jiang Li's eyes narrowed. He saw Jiang Haiyang's tall figure standing in the center of the martial god platform, waiting for him for a long time. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.